Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And of course, as you can see from the title of this video, we will be recapping the latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We're on episode 14. These past 3 months have flown by. There's just one episode left, and then Love and Marriage Huntsville will take a mid-season break, and I believe they'll come back in the fall. So, oh my gosh, once they come back, the summer will be over. How sad, but it's all good. I do ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. It will cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people. And I'm convinced that, Mrs. YouTube is telling the truth when she says that. So please hit the like button on the video. I believe it is effective. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. So first, this week, in terms of Love and Marriage Huntsville, it has been very detailed, extensive, and just a lot. Like if you had plans on reviewing the Real Housewives of Atlanta didn't come on. There was Love and Marriage Detroit. If you were thinking about reviewing that, that definitely had to be on the back burner because there was so much on social media taking place regarding LAMH. And I just want to say that regardless of how Ariane tries to spin it, it is not normal to talk to someone about your boyfriend's idea about possibly, unleashing some revenge pee on their ex. That's just not normal conversation. And I feel like out of everything that we learned this week that came out in some sort of blog or on their Instagram, that is the number one thing. And the number two thing, and the saddest, one of the saddest, is Kimmy Scott. I'm sure you all have watched the interview on Fox Soul where it was their attempt to clean up the huge mess that Maurice made last week during his interview with Carlos King. But Maurice Scott made it even worse. I feel like Kimmy was holding back tears, and it almost gave like I was watching someone who had been abducted, and he's trying to like brainwash her. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to scoop in and kind of like save her, like the FBI or something, and get Maurice under the Patriot Act. Like it felt very uncomfortable watching her. And I made a video about it. Definitely check it out. I also posted the link to the full episode of the TGIF that Kimmy and Maurice appeared on. Fox Soul also edited out a 10-minute clip, but you want to go back and watch the full episode, or you can fast forward, of course, to their interview because Claudia Jordan, she couldn't hold her tongue anymore. She said to Kimmy, woman to woman, and I've been in similar relationships. See, Claudia can see this lady's pain and the desire to have a man, and that pick me energy that you literally have to shake off. It's kind of sad. Like if you grow up in a functional home, I grew up in a 2-parent home. I grew up in a church attending home. Those sometimes are the ingredients for molding a pick me woman. And I just feel like Kimmy has to peel back those layers of pick-meism and save herself. Because her man for damn sure ain't doing anything for her. And you never know, like, I hate to hear about anyone struggling financially or going through a health crisis, but I feel like the health crisis has shined a light on this dude that she is married to. And Kimmy, he is simply not good enough for you. And don't sit up there and make all of those excuses for him. And like Claudia said, she said, Maurice, I get it. I can't make you say anything. You don't want to rephrase it. We keep giving you opportunities to do so. But it really felt like I was looking at a woman who had been abducted. Maybe I saw her picture on the news and I spotted her on this Fox Soul interview. Like I just wanted to jump in and save her if I could. So that is my intro before I get into this episode, because it was a lot. This entire week has been a lot. I do not see how Melody puts up with her ex and Kimmy puts up with the one that she got. And then we gonna have to. I feel like Tish might be. Her mind might get set free. We gonna jump into it. But I just want to say hi to everyone who is here. Hello, anonymous. Thank you for being here. Hi, Beverly. Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Virgo Energy, my girl? Thank you so much for being here. Hello, pretty brown eyes. How are you today? I hope you're doing awesome. Yes, go ahead. Yes, we are discussing Maurice and Kimmy. Okay, and let me say this. So Kimmy, Funky Dineva he asked her, are you feeling uncomfortable? I would have asked her, are you okay? Are you upset? Are you sad? She said that in her mind, she was thinking, you're not answering her question, obviously referring to Claudia Jordan. I think that Kimmy wanted Maurice to rephrase all his disgusting rhetoric that he shared with Carlos King. I think she was happy that Claudia Jordan asked him to, and I think that she was wanting him to do that. But Kimmy, you should not want to force him or try to shape his answer. She said that. She said to Funky Dineva, I know that I cannot guide his answers. She said, guide. Yes, you cannot, Kimmy. You're his wife. You are not his crisis manager. And I saw the words Olivia Pope that Virgo energy typed out. I'm going to get to your comment, honey. I promise. I'm just so fired up because, again, I feel like we're looking at, just allegedly, and in my opinion, let me put my banner up. I feel like we're looking at an abused woman. I know that she hasn't been abducted, but she was moving like she had been abducted and brainwashed. You know, you just wanted to snap to see if you could get her out of that trance, that putting up with BS trance. But you know, some people feel like he is too unintelligent to know how to answer Claudia's question. I don't think he's that dumb. He knows what the words rephrase means, and he knows why they were there. It was about his ignorant comments during his interview with Carlos King. The Negro would not rephrase it because that is how he feels. He does not care if his wife is not in the mood for SE sex. He act like he just gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, and in my opinion. And I'm basing it off of his words. So I'm just really fired up. For me, the marriage would be over. You know, Kimmy, you were doing great before him. I don't know why you would put up with BS now. Whew, goodness. Okay. I am so embarrassed for Kimmy, but if she likes it, I love it. Girl, she gotta have relatives, former co-workers, neighbors who watched that interview. They gotta be asking her like, are you all right? I wonder, has anyone done a divine intervention with her? I stood up in a wedding where my friend's coworkers did a divine intervention on her and told her not to get married. She didn't appreciate it, but you know, it didn't work out. The friends, the coworkers were spot on, and looking back, they did the right thing by trying to intervene. Good afternoon, Miss Woe. Thank you so much for being here. Virgo says, I found it hilarious that Funky tried to help Olivia Pope for them because of his closeness to the Scots. But it was an epic fail because Maurice simply wouldn't shut up. Yes, they made it so worse. To try and do this crisis management interview on Fox Soul, they made it 10 times worse. And Funky Dineva tried to like interrupt when Claudia was speaking from the heart. But it's okay, Funky. Even if you had interrupted her every single time she spoke, there was nothing you could do to cover for Maurice. There was nothing he nor his wife could do. And I felt like she was holding back tears. Kimmy settled for the wrong man. I doubt she will ever leave. That is depressing if she never leaves him. But I agree, she settled. Jimmy doesn't want to be, Kimmy doesn't want to be saved. Got to put her in God's hands. You right. A situation like that, you could only pray. If I was like her mama or her sister, I'd be so worried because I would feel like, where is her mind? Where is her ability to think? I'd be worried about the girl. When we are talking about Kimmy, Stormy, and Marceau, those are the only three topics I want to talk about tonight. Do you, girl? I'm here to hear you out. What's up? Who said that? Thank you so much for being here. Yes, I'm doing good. I hope you all are doing awesome as well. He is not sorry for how he feels. She is his mule. That is a shame. And I mean, we can't all be off in our views, our viewpoints, and our observations, right? That would mean millions of people are just totally idiotic and insane if we don't think that this man is disrespecting her. It's way too many of us who are on the same page. Did y'all hear about CK helping Marlene keep her house allegedly? No, no. Now, property records are public. You would just look up the county where the property is. So if her house is in Madison County, is her last name? It ain't Holt, right? What do we know her last name, y'all? If you know it, put it in the chat. She is a desperate woman. Yes, yes, she is. Yes, y'all. He doubled and tripled down on his words. He did. He even had the nerve to reference Candy. And this is what he led with in his interview. Thank you for bringing this up, Pretty Brown Eyes. He led with, I said what I said, and I can't think of who said that. And Funky Dineva said it was Candy from the Real Housewives of Atlanta at a reunion. She said that, no, that was Nene who said that at a reunion to Candy. And then Candy goes, well, what you said was some BS. But yeah, he said he was, he knew someone had said that before him, but he couldn't think of who it was. Okay. Oh my gosh. Child, the tea from is, I know, all week. It's just been a lot. All week long. Okay. It has been something else. I would have be slapped. I know for old and new right on the interview just because, and then we would have been good. But you know what, Virgo? That's the difference between you and Kimmy. Because I would bet money as soon as like her webcam shut off or the Fox Soul producer removed them from the live stream, I'm sure she just got up and cried. And I'm sure he went in the other room and watched TV. I legit would bet money they didn't even have conversation about the BS interview that they had just had. It was really disturbing to watch. Is Bum on the Couch 12 arrest records allegedly really a practicing lawyer? We never see that on the show. I mean, we watch Melody pack packages for 7th Avenue. We know what she's doing, okay? She streams live while she's working. He is selfish. He won't even change his son's nickname from Monster. He will never concede. And that is so dangerous. It really felt like I was watching like a Lifetime movie where the girl had been abducted. Narcopath who was a bum on the couch. Did you see how he skipped over all the definitions of monster on the CK interview? Oh no, I didn't like how Kimmy made it seem like yes, thank you. That was another point I made in my video on it. So Kimmy, you're comfortable checking women like you tried to do Kiowa in this opening scene, but you cannot check your man. She said during the Fox Soul interview that the fans go too far. No, your husband went too far during that interview. And she said that she didn't watch it, but the backlash was so strong that she had to get informed. But yeah, she's comfortable checking other women, but not her husband. She totally shrinks and downplays herself so he can feel like the man. And that's BS. So she made it seem like the fans were wrong for dragging Miami Reese in her defense. She don't have to worry about me defending her. And I cannot blame you because that's like the friend that she would say, don't come help me. And then you have to just let her, you have to let him go. Like you said earlier, put her in God's hands. It was Nene, right? Good afternoon, Linda. Thank you so much for being here. No, he said, and I quote, I'm not saying I said what I said. He didn't say I said what I said. Okay, I just remember hearing that I said what I said part. I take notes while I watch those interviews the entire time. So I'm like scribbling the whole time while I'm listening. All right, y'all are saying hello to each other. I think I'm caught up on the comments. What's up, Tennessee girl? All right, I think we are all here. Tennessee girl says Kimmy is weak. I'm completely disgusted with her. It's a lot. What's up, Pacino Rules? Kiowa was like, I'm not apologizing. I know. Kiowa, you know what? I fucks with Kiowa, okay? Because she She didn't give Kimmy the business, but she, she wasn't gonna, you weren't gonna like strong arm her into an apology. And I think that's what Kimmy was hoping in this scene. I think she wanted to like son Kiowa, and Kiowa was not going to let that happen. What's up, Cinnamon Swirl? Thank you so much for being here. She said the fans can sometimes do too much. I agree with her, to be honest. But she said she agreed with them that his word choice was horrible. Yes, she did say that. Overall, she defended him, but she knew he was disgusting. Yeah, and I think that was the sadness in her eyes. Kimmy, it's okay. They say in America, 50% of marriages end in divorce. It's okay if you leave this man. It's all right. Nobody's going to judge you. You're not going to be judged. And I have had friends who have confided, they feel like this. I've never been married, so I can't relate, but some married people, when the marriage doesn't work out, they feel like a failure. And one of my god sisters confided this because like her parents, my godparents, they've been married since I think my godmom was like 18 or 19. They've been married like for 60 years, 60 plus years. So she feels like she actually feels pressure to get married and stay married. So when her marriage didn't work, she felt away. Like, that's okay if your marriage don't work. And Kimmy, you can just walk away. People would be rooting for you. Kimmy was basically Maurice's mouthpiece in this scene. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she even said, there was something that she said to Kiowa. It was the whole, you didn't really speak up for me to say that I wasn't a side piece. She said, and I told Maurice that I would say that to you. I thought that was strange. Like, well, you're an adult. You're like a solid 10 years older than him. Why do you have to run by Maurice everything that you're going to say to him? Why is Kyla even there after 10 years? Kimmy wanted her to clear her name, and Kiowa was not having it. No, Kiowa was like, okay. Okay. And Kimmy wanted her to say more. And she's like, well, I can't control like your portrayal. Like, I can't do that. And Kaya even said, I don't do interviews. I don't talk to the blogs. I've never discussed you to anyone. And I mean, I feel like that's fair. That's not Kiowa's job to be going around declaring, 1, 2, 3, 4, Kimmy was not a side piece or a whore. Like, that's not her job to go around doing that. That's your husband's job. Why don't he clear it? I think they edited that scene. So Sheila, in the chat, elaborate for me. What do you think specifically was said that production cut out? And I'm curious to read your answer. This convo was unnecessary. Kiowa and Mo have both remarried, 100%. Kimmy is not leaving Maurice. No way, no how. If she had any self-respect, she would have done so while he strung her along for 7 years. Say it, girl. Say it. She is pathetic. What do y'all think is a decent amount of time to date before you get married? Now, that same wedding that I stood up in, they got engaged after 4 months. I felt like that was faster than Speedy Gonzalez. At least a year, because you got to be around the family. Are these realistically in-laws that you can deal with for the rest of your life? You have to see how they pay their bills. Do they pay a bill on time? Is he going to try and beat your ass? Like, you have to see. Don't rush. But 7 years is way too damn long. Oh my gosh. That kind of sounds like he was waiting for stuff to fall off his credit report. 7 years. That is a long time. And I just wouldn't put up with that. And I'm not even like this super confrontational person. I don't have to have an argument with you. I just won't F with you anymore. Like, Kimmy, walk away. Did y'all catch the part where Kimmy said something about protecting Monster and Jalen? Yeah, she feels like, the depiction of her as a side chick was to protect Kiowa and Monster and Maurice. And then she said, but no one protected her or Jalen, that Jalen had to watch people, the public, judge her. But, that's your bad if you chose to date a man who wasn't fully divorced yet. And that whole, when Kimmy said in the prior episode that Kiowa thought that they were reconciling, that is Chinese for they were still fucking. And we know that. Kimmy, why would you mess around with this man who's screwing around and he's still with his ex-wife? That's just like in Waiting to Exhale, when the character played by Leela Rashan, he comes over, Leon came over and he didn't want to do it. He was like, can I have my pajamas? And she was like, that's a first. And then she figured it out. He must have slept with her. And when she tries to check him, Leon says, you can't ask me what I do with my wife. So yeah, that's married people do that. They have sex. Now, there should not ever be a mistress. That should not be a thing of existence, but unfortunately it is. But I don't see how she could even go out like this. Kimmy, put yourself first. Run. This is not love. If my husband started acting like Maurice, if I get sick, I'm out immediately. Absolutely. He was the adulterer. Kimmy was single. You're absolutely right. If you truly loved your spouse, divorce feels like a death and the death of a family unit. And then if you love yourself, like that divorce could be, your saving grace. Kimmy needs to let her hubby do his dirty work and get out before it's too late. Both women need to move on and get that child home. And to, in my opinion, Maurice supplies financial funds to Kiowa. 1 to 2 years max. I agree. I think that's a great time frame to date. All the Scots are struggling for storylines. Fall off the credit. That's what it sounds like. He was waiting on something he had to pay off or get off his credit report. It was on her husband to clear her name. I agree with you. Girl, we're all fired up. Let me move on so we can get to like the business, the entrepreneurs of Marceau Scott and Tish Scott. But it's Tish, to me, she was thinking kind of on the right path in this episode, but we gonna get to it. Yes, that was not needed to be said. Jaden got out of the way before he hurt his mom's husband. I agree. I agree. Y'all are so spot on. The comments are so juicy. But we done talked about Kimmy. We done beat this dead horse. I can't do nothing for her if she won't leave him. So then, y'all, we see where Melody and Stormy were meeting up. Stormy called the meeting because she wants there to be an issue, okay? And she said, Melody, I think that you run away from things. You don't want to have those hard discussions. Melody said, if I feared hard discussions, I would not have hosted a tea and I would not have come today. I agree with that. Melody explained to her, I just came off of dealing with one crazy mama, one crazy baked potato cooking, barbecue sauce using crazy mama who tried to put her hands on me, sucker punch. Now I'm supposed to deal with your mama who literally don't know me and she kept coming up with a different reason as to why she doesn't like me. That's just insane. And all Stormy could say was, well, I can't control how she feels. And that is factual. We know none of us can control each other's behavior. But Stormy, just say that your mother was out of bounds and just out of pocket and she just found a reason not to like you. So I feel like Stormy is going to want to try and be cool with Melody again. I don't think Melody is the type to hold hard feelings. I think, her mind is like, bitch, I see you. But yeah, Stormy wants to get in where she can fit in. What did y'all think about this scene? But that was pretty much it. Melody explained herself clearly. Stormy loves to interrupt, and she already had her answers together that she was going to, just say she can't control her mama. And I'll say this again, unpopular opinion. There is nothing wrong with DMing your friend. When my mama died, I did turn to Facebook DMs to let some of my closest friends know, it's normal. My insurance guy, when I got this house and you have to show your lender proof of insurance, I found him on Facebook. I mean, to DM is a way to take care of business and to communicate with people. So whenever I look at Stormy, I always look at that silliness. I always think of that silliness when I see her. So then we see this comeback group talking about, this Tish was showing everyone the venue. She told them that Melody did not really want to be involved in business with Martell. She didn't say that, but we know that's a part of it. She really didn't want to be bothered, with him. We absolutely get that. Probably the most significant thing about this scene is that Martell was checking out Tish. He told her that she was looking good. Marceau instantly feels away. To me, he seemed a little insecure. Let me know. Do y'all think Martell could take Tish? Steal her from Marceau? I feel a couple of ways. On the one hand, I feel like Marceau acts like Martell could steal his wife. And then on the other hand, I think Tish is just way too in love with Marceau for whatever reason. I don't think she would ever dip out on him. But yeah, they were really worried about whether or not Melody would be involved in this Black Expo because they know that they need her to market the event and to be that keynote speaker that would pull the people in. But Tish looked at Stormy as kind of like the replacement. I mean, I feel like all of us are irreplaceable, definitely Melody. But the one person that was irreplaceable in Tish's eyes, her husband, insulted because he doesn't have some normal business skills. And we're going to get to that in a moment. And, Stormy even joined this scene and said, well, yeah, the Jeans were doing what they were doing. None of us could ignore Tish's ass. And, Martell's like, oh, no, I was just noticing that she's been working out, especially her midsection. And you too, Marceau, you've been working out. Yeah, Martell, you need some self-control, bruh. And I just cannot take it. I'm just going to get caught up in the comments real quick and then we'll move on. Perhaps don't want to inherit his debts. I know I wouldn't want that. For sure, about Kimmy and Maurice. The expression Kiowa had on her face and the music didn't go with what Kiowa said, especially when Kimmy said it was a lack of integrity. Something seemed off. Gotcha. Okay, very observant of you, Sheila. I love it. She chose not to protect her own son or herself. She should be ashamed of herself for putting her own child through that to protect your boyfriend and his family, son and ex-wife. I agree with you. Kimmy is not going to give up that Mrs. title. That is a shame. And who cares about titles? Don't be a slave to it, Kimmy. Oh, thank you so much for being here. How I See It TV. I appreciate you. Love goes both ways. Maurice is not showing love during Kimmy's health crisis. I know it's very sad to watch. In my opinion, Maurice ran Jalen out of the house. He wanted him out of the way. He was waiting to get custody of his son. That was the 7-year wait. Okay, gotcha. Kiowa did respond to a blogger years ago and stated that the relationship timeline Maurice and Kimmy provided was not correct. Another unnecessary conversation. Oh, with Melody and Stormy. What's with Stormy and the Rolls Royce? Yeah, I peeped that too. I think she just wanted to be boastful and let us see her pulling up to what looked like, like the little coffee shop. She pulled up. I'm so glad you typed that, Pacino Rules. She pulled up to like a coffee shop in a Rolls Royce. When my cousin got married, she had the Rolls Royce it was an outdoor mosque. She got married outside in an outdoor mosque. The Rolls Royce was so expensive. It was just to pull her up there and that was it. They had to go. But who pulls up to the coffee shop in the Rolls Royce? Stormy. She thinks like she has to impress us. Melody made it real clear we're not going to be friend faking Stormy. Melody didn't gaslight her. Totally agree. This conversation was stupid and unnecessary. Stormy needs a chiropractor with that stupid gaslighting reach. I can't deal with her anymore. None of us can. Don't have your mama on the show if she purposely complicates your interactions with the other cast members. Scarlett, me, don't even have in your personal life. She was like, my mama didn't like my husband, my friend, her sister, which I was like, Stormy, okay, girl, minister to yourself, keep preaching, okay? The answer is your mama. The problem is your mama. Keep saying that, keep talking. can't control your mama, then why you bring her ass around other people? I know. Stormy is not going to check her mama. Melody can live without a deep friendship with Stormy. Absolutely. She knows she messed up. We are all on the same page here. She will not let Stormy back in, has shown who she is. All right, I'm going to come back and revisit the comments, y'all, as soon as I get. So now I'm like back wondering where I am. I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Please don't blame my heart. I will get back in a minute. Okay, so this was pretty much this scene with Martell checking out Tish. And I think he's just a horny toad and he'll just check out anybody. But yeah, totally disrespectful. I can't blame you, Marceau. But I'm wondering, could Martell steal your woman? So then we see like Maurice and Monster talking, all these previous scenes. He's waking the boy up at 5 a.m. And to me, he doesn't really know Monster. I feel like it's like he doesn't know him and he's just been reintroduced to his real son. And now they're trying to bond. That's what it's giving. And that's pretty much it. And he's like, you don't know who you are. And, I don't know, whatever. So then I do want to talk about this scene, y'all. So I feel a couple of ways about it. Number one, where's Miss Van? If we're going to be introduced to all these mamas, I mean, what's next? Are we going to meet like one of the people at the Black Expo, their mamas too? I mean, we're meeting all these different mothers. We want to see Miss Van. We miss her. We want her back on the show. And I don't like the workplace retaliation. I don't like it at all. And so I'm just wondering, where is she? That's number one. Number two, this lady, Courtney's mom, I feel like she's much more pleasant to deal with than Miss Betty. I noticed she actually was helping Stormy out to set up the Black Expo. She knew not to bring her mama Betty. But this lady, Courtney's mom, talked about how it was hard being a single mom. Lots of Black women, unfortunately, have to experience that. But then she said she even had moments where she had to choose between buying medicine or putting enough gas in her car to drive to work. Then this is where, it's one of the big lies in our community. She said, she used to pray to God and think, will this work? Me raising these kids as a single woman? But it works. Ma'am, no, it does not. No, it does not. Why don't you say that you literally got screwed and then you got screwed again when the dad didn't help you take care of the kids? Why don't you say that? And then why don't you say, and it was important that I raised you so that when you did have children, that you were actively and financially supporting them? Say that. Don't give that BS that this works. No, it's going to be a struggle unless you make at least 6 figures. Can we be realistic? My sisters, they have always said that children are expensive. My sisters each have 1 kid, and then my brother had 3 kids. So, yeah, children are expensive. Say that. That's why single moms in our community struggle, because it's expensive to have children. And then if you want them to grow up to be cultured and you don't want them to get into trouble, so you put them in extracurricular activities, that costs money. So no, don't say this works. That's BS. That's why our community, the struggle remains. Like you're trying to break the curses. Don't spew that BS. And then Courtney got emotional. And that was pretty much it. Okay, so now we are at the point where, so Stormy shows up to set up for the vendor event. I can't even fully blame Stormy because it's not her event. She was asked to show up. She was asked to help them because, Melody couldn't do it. So there's a lack of communication on Marceau and Tisha's part. And Stormy, she turned what Tish said was about for 3 vendors It's like she was creating like a beauty salon. That was her visual. That would be awesome, Stormy, if it was just you, like if it was just a Canvas Beauty event. But at the same time, the people who ran the event, Tish and Marceau, should have told her, you'll have a table. It'll be like your normal vendor event where people will come in, they'll shop the different vendor tables, and we have a $100 vendor fee. She should have known that. Even when she says to Marceau, why didn't you tell me when we did the walkthrough? Oh no, Stormy, they should have let you know weeks prior to the event that there was a vendor fee. I know the vendor events that I do, I'm a bedroom candy consultant. The bedroom candy logo don't even go on the flyer until I pay my money. So I don't even know why Marceau and Tish would even let her in the building if she ain't paid this $100 fee that you need so bad. I think he just wanted some money. Okay, so now y'all, let me jump back to the comments and try and catch up, and then we'll get back to the show. So I'm trying to go back. Do 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 do. Why you bring her? Stormy is not going to check her mama. Oh, yep. I went through these. My bad, y'all. Okay. Stormy thought she could play in Melody's face and Mel shut her down. I DM my closest friends and even family members on a regular. It's not that big of a deal. And we even have each other's numbers and home addresses. Yes, DMing is faster. It's way easier. I didn't see what was the big deal at all. And that was legit the huge basis of Stormy being mad at that girl. Yep, but he don't want her because she's broke. Stormy has been taking shots at Melody in confessionals all season. Broke meaning Marceau got her all credit tied up. Woo, Lord have mercy. Oh, so Martell wouldn't want Tish because yep. This scenario shows again the Scotts are not business people. Absolutely, they are not. Martell wants to eat. Ooh! Martell couldn't steal Tisha's shoes. Talk less of Tisha with, I know. Martell was out of line, especially considering his track record. And see, his track record, it doesn't surprise me that he would be so inappropriate with a married woman, and the woman happens to be married to your friend. Martell should have provided an update on his builder's license or lack thereof. But see, him checking out Tish shows he can't even study for the builder's test because he's too busy looking at asses. Very unprofessional choice for an outfit. I know, because them jeans was hugging like she was about to go out to the club. What's up, Phyllis? Yeah, I know. That's the issue with her for me. Does she not realize that Mel will see this, but she wants them to be cool? Stormy doesn't know what she wants to do. Very unprofessional. Tish bought that body. I believe Martell was throwing shade. He knows Tish had a BBL. Marceau told him, yeah, right. That had to have been humiliating for Martell to bring it back up. You made Tish get a BBL. Maurice making sure the ex gets a paycheck. He's still looking out for his first love. Ain't that something? I just couldn't be disrespected. The next thing we will see a judgment from the limousine company. Good one, Cinnamon Swirl. You are hilarious. For that Rolls Royce. I know. You ain't never lied. Thank you for the super chat, PBE. I appreciate you. You're a content creator. Keep doing you, boo. Love your channel. I love yours too. You know what? I would have signed up for your sip and paint. I am not artistic. I can write. My creativity is in writing. But I would be so shamed if you asked everyone, okay, now turn your pictures to I would be shamed. I would be like, oh, I'm sorry, Pretty Brown Eyes, I have to go. I would not show my painting. I would be so embarrassed. What's up, Arheb? Yes, she bought that butt. Probably just made the last payment. Y'all are a trip. That's hilarious. Stormy doesn't want to admit that she sided with Mel's ops and allowed them to influence her. Now she's trying to play the victim. I think she regrets, yeah, but Did everyone catch the swollen right side of Martell's face? Yes, Benny. I'm glad you brought that up because I thought I was tripping. I was like, He almost looks like he had some work done to his face. I know from watching the white women on the Real Housewives of Orange County, when Vicki Gunvalson one time got some facial work, it was almost like she should not have filmed. She was so swollen. And that's how Martell was looking. Do y'all think allegedly that lady, that girl, put them paws on him? Or what y'all think happened? And when they were doing the venue, the walkthrough, he did very much so look swollen. Melody arrived after Stormy. Melody didn't see how Stormy arrived driving Miss Daisy. I know that was just so, to me, it's like ghetto fabulous when you pull up in the Rolls Royce at the coffee shop. That part, fake crap. That's like going to Starbucks in the Rolls Royce. Like, what? I appreciate the positivity of Courtney's mom. Absolutely. She even told him, I'm glad your comment, it refreshes my memory. She even told Courtney, like, basically, I see your concerns about not wanting any more kids, but you are married, so you have to consider your spouse's feelings. That was her being pretty fair and neutral. I don't think Betty has the capability of being anybody's neutrality. Not at all. Stormy and her husband can go. I know. They fake and are rude and unprofessional. Word. Mel knows Stormy now. Mel's interactions is just enough for the city. A paycheck, not allowing self to be used anymore. Pick me vibes. Absolutely. So many pygmies, like they're trying to take over the world. I like Courtney's mom a lot. She is beautiful. Start with that. And she made sure to support her son emotionally, but firmly gave him good advice in his marriage. And no way she expects Mel to rebuild the friendship after what her mom said. It's one thing to say I don't like her, but her mom went beyond the name calling and going after Sugar Mama. Just ignorant. But what she meant was she made it work. She said she was scared and often didn't know how she was going to get by, but she stuck through it and made it work. But I'm just so tired of like women protecting the fuck shit men. They don't deserve it. Only a fool would think that Miss Van's absence and who involved in that, Carlos, that Mel don't see and dislikes the treatment. Marceau is a fool, 100%. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Dion Janet Jackson, 1814. Thank you so much for being here. He does have a relationship with his son. He did this to try to stop people from judging. You're talking about Courtney. I can't blame Stormy. The problem was in the planning. Blame rests with the Scots 1.0. I totally agree. Because that's why she reacted that way. It's the principle of it all. I've been at expos where vendors pay for larger spaces and set up the entire living room set for their display stalls. Stormy wasn't even that large, to be honest. I know, and you know what? My experience is like the little banquet halls, like VFW halls, where people might have like their bridal shower or a baby shower. That's where I've gone to vendor events, and it's literally just like a table that I get, and then I sit out all my bedroom candy stuff. Like I feel like what Stormy set up kind of reminds me of a wedding expo when it's like on that level. And her setup did look nice, but you could tell Tish and Marceau didn't have a clue because they didn't communicate with her. Kimmy has a grown son. Why would she talk about their sex life? The son is probably hurt and embarrassed. Do any of them go to church? As a business boss, Stormy should have asked, is there a fee? Both sides, business people would have asked and given up front info, give up front info. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to acknowledge that her mother-in-law did show up to help her with the setup. So upon her doing that, Stormy actually confided that she was nervous because she had to set up for the expo. She could not be at the warehouse to micromanage her staff to get their retail orders out, I guess, to like Walmart. So I have felt like a while now, ever since I started hearing that people weren't getting their online orders, allegedly, I feel like Stormy places more importance and emphasis on her retail orders. That's why the online orders would suffer. And she said she was talking to her mother-in-law in this scene. She's like, every time I jump over a hurdle, there's like another one that I have to. Stormy makes entrepreneurship look like it's going to give you a heart attack or a stroke. She makes it look really, really bad. Now, Candy from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Melody Cherie from Love and Marriage Huntsville, they make entrepreneurship very inspiring, like something to seek after. But Stormy, it'll make you want to run to your 9 to 5, baby, because it just, the disorganization, it seems very intense. And she seems to lack confidence in her staff. That's got to be some huge sort of red flag, like where she's literally worried to be here at the Black Expo setting up because she has a retail order that's due. Don't that sound real bad? That sounds real, real bad. Stormy and the DMS is just a long reach for a storyline. Absolutely, y'all. Stormy's issue with Mel is that she started hanging out with Tish and Destiny after last season wrapped and decided to feed into their thoughts about Melody instead of using her own brain. And I can't even F with folks like that who are independent thinkers, or if you're high school. So because this person don't like this person, I ain't gonna like you either because I'm friends with this person. Why can't we all be adults? And if I love both of you, I F's with both of y'all. I'm not gonna put down one for the other. That's not my makeup. Tish and Ariane have similar qualities. They believe anything and cannot articulate a point. That recording with Ariane, don't it make you glad that you're you? That you're you and you think the way that you do and you make intelligent choices? I would not want to be Ariane. Not on my worst day. Martell may have gotten Botox. That's what I'm thinking, because it looked like Vicky Gumbelson from the Real Housewives of Orange County when she would get her face done. I'm like, what? Peasant went ham on Hotel's face. Notice Marceau came alone, not with her. I think they are living apart. Yes, he did come later, because asking Tissue about the 100, if paid or not, he would have known, but they hadn't talked. She must have given in and let him stay at that house that he's supposed to be remodeling. What's up, D Brown? Thank you so much for being here. I think Martell got fillers in his face. If you look at him now, his face looks fuller and a bit a bit weird. That's funny. Hotel got Pancake 57 like Little Richard. I remember hearing about that. That's funny. Martell and Sheree must have gotten a 2-for-1. Right, a BOGO at the plastic surgeon office. Let's see the interaction of Courtney's mama and Betty. Ciao. I would be so pissed if Betty talked mean to that lady, because she seems pretty nice. I agree, Charmaine. I was thinking that too. I'm like, oh, this seems like they would get along. Courtney's mom and Miss Van could be friends. That would be nice to see. Oh, and the other mamas, they would be hating. Oh my gosh. Stormy felt the friendship with Mel was tapering off because she felt guilty hanging around Tish and Destiny, doing videos all over IG. And she felt Mel had an issue with that, even though Mel said they're fine. Melody ain't the type to get all bent out of shape because y'all on IG dancing wrong to Cuff It by Beyonce. I don't think Melody would trip over that. Stormy set up an elaborate rouse. Yes, she did. That's why she had to get there so early. Goodness. I think the toxic people on this show are some of the women. Tisha and Kimmy perpetuate the bad behavior of their men, yet they are vicious when they have problems with the women on the show. Absolutely, D Brown. They don't keep that same energy for their men that they give the women. It wasn't up to Stormy to ask them when they came to her to help them with the expo and be the big name draw when Mel dropped out. The Scotts don't know how to do business properly. I agree. I feel like if they're throwing the event, they should communicate with Stormy. Stormy may have, I'm not saying she would have been correct to assume, but she may have thought, oh, this may have a fee, but because like I'm their coworker now, maybe they're not going to charge me. They didn't say anything to me about it. But I know with my experience, Bedroom Candy can't even go on the flyer until I pay the fee. Tish said it was free for them, but didn't stop Marceau going over there to Stormy. Yeah. So Tish, I'm glad you brought that up, Tammy. Tish was like saying, well, chocolate in a bottle didn't pay the fee. And he's like, well, chocolate in a bottle is paying for all this other stuff. He tripped over the balloons. That was just $325. And I think that's part of the reason why he decided to go harass Stormy for the $100 to help absorb the 325 that he saw his wife spent on the balloons. And she just wanted a nice visual, Marceau. Goodness. You know what? They seem like they don't know what they're doing over there. Tish told him not to do that and how wrong he was, but he insisted, so she let him go embarrass himself, which he did immensely. Unprofessional, absolutely. Tisha and Kimmy are the bone carriers of this show, yet they want to point fingers at Tiffany. I know. Stormy knows she only has her husband to pack that stuff at the warehouse. Yeah, she does not have confidence in the rest of the team. So I want to make sure I did not skip any. Okay. Melody had to push for clarity regarding a speaker's fee with Tisha and Marceau. So I think there was a lack of communication on both sides. Tisha and Marceau greet each other as if they didn't get dressed under the same roof. Y'all are right. And I also feel like they're trying to show more emotion on camera. I just don't remember them being so, oh, hey, or, like y'all said, it's like they hadn't seen each other type of kiss. The Scots 1.0 greet each other. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sean. Yes, hello. Thank you so much. Yeah, and come on out those bushes and be free. Stormy felt not one scintilla of guilt. Absolutely. And I feel like she shouldn't have. She was like, why didn't you tell me about it during the walkthrough? And they should have told you way prior. I felt like her reaction was well within her rights. And then he was acting like a BAN when she said this is low vibrational. And Stormy, you should have really went the business route and say this was unprofessional, disorganized, last minute. And then he acted like a little Bia over being called low vibrational. Thank you, ADR, for being here, and thank you for hitting that like button. Y'all, please hit the like button. It helps me so much. Marceau is a yes. When he asked Stormy about the $100 and Stormy put up resistance, he called Tisha over, who already said it was tacky. He's a punk. I know, trying to like strong arm that girl, like getting his muscle. D. Brown, you are so right. Martell was reading Tisha for filth on season 1's reunion. Marceau said nothing to help her, but Mel still gets the blame for the 20 women comment. Right. Martell was mad when he thought Marceau wanted Mel. I guess this is his lick back. That's a good point, MD Hill. You're absolutely right. All right. I hope y'all are having a good time. I bet Stormy is mad she was second to Mel not being here. Now $100. Right. We got to pay you for helping us out with our event because we're not confident that we can draw people in. Absolutely. And then, this was pretty much the flowers. I thought that was cute. He didn't like the $325 spent. They're acting very hard up for cash. And then this was the whole low vibrational chat. Yes, indeed. And then last night, Stormy put up this post on IG. The gag is I wasn't even selling anything at the expo. It was a gifting suite. I was literally giving back to the event. It was for the community. So I wonder, was she like handing out like maybe Canvas Beauty samples or something? So let me see. I'm caught up on the comments. Without Mel, it seems they can't do anything right. I know. Stormy has such an issue with Mel being passive aggressive when she is passive aggressive as herself. Or what was that with Marceau and the low vibrational with a gritted smile? I know. And I felt like when her mother-in-law came to set up, I was like, they are looking like the same age. This is why the baby shower Stormy's husband didn't greet Marceau. Right. He knows what time it is. He probably don't really F with them people like that. But I'm going to drop the link so that y'all can, give your thoughts. Woo, child. Let me see what else. What else we got here? How is she going to give something the people have paid for and not received? Oh, y'all are like dragging today. Did y'all go get Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts? Y'all are really fired up and y'all are spot on too, let me say. And Kimmy, girl, it's okay to leave. It's okay to leave. What's up, Anonymous? Thank you so much for being here.
What's up? What's up? Yeah, let me give you this thing here.
Okay, it's in the private
Because on
chat.
a previous live last night, I know people were kind of confused on what could happen, but I wanted to review what right to privacy is.
Okay.
So that people have a better understanding. I was getting popcorn. People have a better understanding of what the legal field is going to look at what you should say. And also, this is to help bum on couch, 12 arrest records allegedly, margarine. No, he shouldn't be talking about his wife's private marital sex acts on interviews.
Ah.
That's something that you're not technically supposed to talk about. Just read it briefly. Say invasion of privacy can occur in many ways. Let's say you're in an elevator with your friend along with other people. You tell your friend private information regarding knowing the other people are listening to your conversation. Even if one of the strangers discloses that private information without your permission, your right to privacy has not been violated. Now, this is different. If you freely tell your stuff in the public and they overhear it, that's not a violation. So this is the distinction between something that's really private. However, if you're having that private conversation at home and someone uses a device to eavesdrop, then you might have a valid invasion of privacy claim. Okay. But I want you to scroll down a little bit to the different types of right to privacy claims. This is the key that I wanted people to know. Usually in the courts, what we look at, and right to privacy is not in the Constitution, but case law, judge-made law, explaining what Bill of Rights are, and you name it, has kind of defined it under these areas. So right to privacy can refer to many different actions. Here are 4 of the most common types of invasion of privacy claims. Okay, the first one, they call it the intrusion of solitude. This refers to invasion of your solitude or private affairs. Unlike other types of right to privacy claims, intrusion of solitude does not require publication of private facts or images. The act alone violates the law. So private affairs could be marital sex acts. This is what I'm saying, how people just don't understand, and you're discussing somebody else's. Now, again, if you do yours, that's a whole different story. You're telling yours. But if you're talking about some other person implication, that's where you're getting into the right of privacy. Okay. They have the next one. I'm not going to read it long, but it talks about the appropriation of name or likeness. This is violated when a person or an entity uses your name or likeness for benefit without permission. Some states limits this type of action to commercial use only. Okay. The third one, which I think is the big one that I'm trying to get people to understand, it's the public disclosure of private facts. This type of invasion of privacy involves a public disclosure of a non-public concern that a reasonable person would find offensive if made public. Now, the peasant, Bird, Carson, anybody else talking about Melody Cherie's sex act falls into this realm, or any content creator bringing it up. And this is the reason why people have to be very careful, because they're like, well, oh, you don't have civil or criminal actions against them. Yes, you do. Because it's now, if you do your body, you could do whatever you want. You want to tell it, that's your thing. But when you're talking about other people, this is where you're getting into the right of privacy. So that's why I'm saying, and then the last one is false light. But again, you can read that. But a lot of people just have to understand, at least in the legal field, this is why we know you're not supposed to discuss your marital sex acts, you name it. You're just not supposed to do it. And if you do, there are ways that the courts can compensate it, whether it be an injunction, get damages if you do it. Perfect example was Cardi B to Tasha K. Revealed the HIPAA thing. That's how she was able to get that court case. So this is why it's kind of important that people know you shouldn't be talking about other people's private marital sex acts, because you could open yourself up to civil actions that could come. And that's all we're just trying to say on that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here again. And thank you, Hannah Grace, for being here. How are you today?
Hello, how's it going? Show Styles and Spirit and Anonymous and panel. And guess how y'all doing?
How are you doing, Hannah?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts?
Yes. When I saw Kimmy and Kiowa sitting at the table when they were having lunch or whatever, and Kimmy talked about Kiowa's integrity, that really bothered me, because I don't understand how could she say that, question this woman's integrity concerning something that she says she never put out there. She wanted the lady to stand up and say, well, no, Kim is not a side chick. But that wasn't true, because in her, if you define side chick as a lady who's dating your husband or someone else's husband, that's exactly what she was. And for her to, and she's been saying this for a while, talking about she want an apology. This lets me know Kimmy is self-centered and it's something wrong with her thought processes. You cannot tell me that this woman was married to your now husband. She has a son with him. You're dating him. You were dating him for years and running around her son, like Kyle was saying, with bathing suits and stuff on. And now you're the victim. I don't get that. Now she owes you an apology. You're mad at her because she won't apologize. And it was a whole scene about 2 seasons ago when her and Maurice were in the kitchen and she's up in there crying, telling me she wanted an apology. He said, apology from who? She said, Kiowa. He said, for what? Basically, he said, I've asked her to apologize to you. I don't know. I wouldn't apologize to her either. And if she had, questioned my integrity, and I don't know what Kiowa told her, but I know the look on her face was like, lady, there's something wrong with you. I would have had to tell her right then and there, I don't owe you anything, lady. Nothing. No apology, no defending you, none of that. And for you to question my integrity, don't do it. She did. She said it last week to Maurice too. So it's something wrong with her thought process. And it's not dealing with her being sick or anything like this. This happened way before she even got sick. How she dealt with Kiowa is one of the reasons I ain't gonna say I don't like her, but I cannot get with Kimmy, because again, this is a lady that had a young son, and you're running around. She's up in Detroit or wherever she lives, trying to raise her son. You're down here with her ex-husband, running around, living your best life. And then you're going to have the audacity to cry and talk about she owes you an apology. How about you giving her an apology? So I don't know. I just, it's something wrong with that whole thing with Kimmy. And then in her body language during that interview, she tells me that it's almost like she didn't even want to be around Maurice. She didn't want to be close to him. She can't trust him. She don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. She know he doesn't really care. Now I guess she's questioning, do he have the capacity to care? Because when someone's in a position as Kimmy was in with a sickness and going through all those treatments and stuff, that was a perfect time for him for her to see his character. And I think she really did, for him to make those comments with Carlos, and Carlos over there probably giggling and sniggling about it. And then she gets the backlash for something that he said, and he goes on. And also with Melody and Stormy. Yeah, I saw Stormy drive being chauffeured up with a I didn't know what, but you said it was a Bentley, right? Or whatever kind of car.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Rolls Royce or something.
A Rolls Royce. Now, and then people know that you're living the high life off of other people's money. One of the bloggers said she has a Ponzi scheme, and that kind of tickled me, because I said, once you really think about it, that's kind of what it is. Because if you're taking my money, telling me you're going to give me a product, holding on to my money, and I see you over here living the high life, but you still got my money, and I don't have, and so I don't know. So it's like what they say, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And now, and see, here's the other thing. When I saw that vulnerable scene with with her husband, with Stormy's husband and the mother, that lets me know right now that they're having significant money problems, because he's crying. He was crying. That tells me that they're having some problems, big time. And it's not just family problem. It's mostly financial problem, because they were running around again, living the high life. And when people expose them, now you have to rearrange your business model. You have to make changes. You're losing money, and you still got all of these bills that you have to pay. So I think that him going to see his mom was more than just, I'm crying because my dad didn't, and I know that's a big part of his life, but I think it's more, they're just not saying. And Miss Betty's silence is even more loud when it comes to me, when it comes to Stormy's situation as well, because she's not saying anything, because people told her to shut her mouth, that she was going to be affecting her daughter's business, and she didn't care. But now she cared, because she see really that her daughter is having big time problems because of what it's directly related to what Miss Betty did, if you ask me. And Martell running around there flirting with Marcel's wife, Letitia, shows me this man has no integrity at all. And there again, you see Kimmy and Maurice separated. I think Kimmy is having some significant problems with him. Just being around him, he's not doing what she wants him to do. And she realized that I'm fighting a losing battle, in my opinion, because this thing really hit her heart, and he don't seem to be getting the message. And Martell's still over there joking around and talking about Melody, and with Marceau coming up there asking Stormy for $100 and complaining about some balloons. First of all, if you don't have the money to pull off an event like this, why have it?
I thought Love and Marriage Huntsville paid for it. Why they even have to ask for $100? I'm like, really?
Well, see, they were charging the vendors, but I'm saying, why? Okay, if Stormy and her husband were on the panel and they're giving their expert advice to people coming to see the event, why are you charging these people $100? It seemed like it's peanuts, and it's petty. And then for her, like she said, for him to come up to her and ask her that the day of the event, why you didn't tell her that before? Why you didn't tell me I gotta pay? I may have said, no, I don't want to even have anything to do with it. It wasn't even the money, it's the way you're doing business. And she said that. And did y'all see a message or Facebook or not Facebook, Instagram post where they said that Stormy says she would never do business with Marcel, especially it says something about Tisha too. And there said Tisha and Stormy is having some significant problems right now. Did y'all see that post?
I'll look for it right now. I want to quickly thank Phyllis Crawford for the super chat. Thank you so much for it. Love the way you read your chat comments. You include us. Absolutely. I look forward to what y'all have to say. Go ahead, Hannah.
Mm-hmm. And then we already talked about Melody and Stormy a little bit, but Melody, I don't see how she could even deal with any of these people. They always have some petty complaint about what she's doing. And she's trying, this woman has 4 kids. Of all of these people here, she's one with the 4 kids, a deadbeat ex-husband, a crazy baby mama, ex-mother-in-law, all of these people to have to deal with. Now, she don't have to deal with them, but they all coming for her for some reason. She's the only one with 4 children, trying to live her best life, trying to do all this stuff. She don't have time for the pettiness of it all. And let me see, the last scene was with Stormy. We already talked about that. And yeah, I think it was, I didn't like the, and I'm with you with them bringing all of the mothers on Show Styles of Spirit and leaving Miss Van out. And I think, like you're saying, it's retaliation from them, from them not having Miss Wanda on the show, and for Melody saying something about it and calling them out. Because a few weeks ago, Melody called them out and said everybody else's mother is on the show and her mother wasn't. She's very upset about that. They cut her mother out of those. And I know Miss Van hasn't said anything. And sometimes you cannot take the high road every time. Sometimes you just have to speak your truth and speak it loud and clear and call people out. And I know she don't want to do too much because her daughter is still working for OWN and for Kingdom Reign. And she don't want to call them out, but eventually she'll tell it all. But, I don't know if I could have held my peace on this one because, again, Melody did all of this. And I wonder at this point, does she even regret I'm not going to say that she regretted because she has won in so many ways when it comes to, the show and what people have done and all of this. But I think this is a lesson for people who have an idea and they trust somebody else with their idea and they steal it and don't give them the credit and try to boot them off. And that should have been, signs or red flags when it happened to, Mariah Huff and others. But this one here, Carlos just don't care about what he done and what he did. I think he think that this is his thing. And it wasn't, though. If Melody hadn't bought this to you, then you wouldn't be where you are. And I hate the fact that he don't give her the credit where it's due. Only give credit where it's due. And then you won't have the backlash. But I think what's going to happen is one day he's going to regret the way he handled this whole matter, because you cannot steal from people and think that it's going to be yours. You can hold it for a minute, but eventually if he just do the right thing when it comes to sharing this whole thing with Melody, but it's going to work itself out. I'm just going to leave it alone on that. But they need to definitely bring Miss Van. And I think they're holding her hostage. They're saying, okay, if we're not going to we'll bring Miss Van on if we can bring Miss Wanda back. I could be wrong about that, but those two things are intertwined some kind of way.
Oh, for sure. You're right. I think that it's like a bargaining chip. Like, well, if you want Miss Van back, then Miss Wanda has to come back. And that's really unfair. And we're watching someone be punished on their job for something. She had nothing to do with that lady trying to hit Melody in the parking lot. It has absolutely nothing to do with her. And she's just being punished.
Anybody that thinks you can equate Kung Fu Panda, this illiterate, immoral woman who thought shit was appropriate to hit the star of the show and bragged about it after she did it
on an IG Live right after the event. I'm sorry. Both Carlos, the Snots, and everybody on this whole set needs to go, or this whole show needs to end. That woman hit her other staff. She was very rude, talking about other things. Even on her IG Live, she's been talking about other content creators, saying they're doing bestiality and other things. The woman doesn't deserve to be showcased on any show. Wander, Kung Fu Panda, whatever her dang name is. We need to stop promoting trashy gutter rat people on a TV show and giving them light. You don't do that. You just don't do that. I'm sorry. And if they think that's a bargaining chip, all of them need to go. Get every last one of these thoughts off the show. Because that's crazy.
That's Carlos's mindset, though. You can tell he feels like Wanda is TV, and because he made a video like about a month ago. There was another show with a petition, and Carlos was reviewing it. Well, I don't know if it was Basketball Wives. I don't know what show it was. They've had a petition recently, and Carlos said, and I know you know how he acts, and I know a thing or two about petitions.
Yeah, but he lost his show. What I'm saying is this: the reason why Carlos King Nightcap lost is because he was doing a sex tease, strip tease with Hotel that was very inconsiderable. He had the first episode, he had Wander talking so bad about everybody. It wasn't just Melody, it was the other people on the cast. And he didn't understand that was too far. That's why he lost it. To me, he's a narcopath just like Hotel. He has the 10 traits of being a narcissistic sociopath. And he thinks he's God and he thinks he can do whatever he wants, but he keeps getting fired and removed from places because he doesn't understand balance. That is totally unacceptable, to be putting a battery in this woman, or I don't even call her a woman, this it that thinks it's appropriate to attack kids, mothers, castmates, because she's mad that her mother made her a 304 too, in my opinion, allegedly. Nah, that's crazy. And we as a public don't need to come up here and defend this mess. This is sick. This is sick. That's why I said if he thinks putting that trash on there and OWN wants to support that, maybe they all need to go. Maybe a whole lot of people need to be fired, because nobody's going to tolerate that mess. I mean, that woman tried to hit her on the set and bragged about it. She didn't have no remorse at all. I'm sorry. I don't have no respect for that trash heap. And I hope she hears it. You're a trash heap. You're a trash heap, Kung Fu Panda.
PBE, Pretty Brown Eyes, are you oh, okay, you're almost there. All right, a few more minutes and then we'll hear from Pretty Brown Eyes.
Well, I was going to give a little recast. I didn't know if we were going to do each scene. Hannah went through everything. But
go ahead, Anonymous.
Yeah, the first scene, Miss Side Chick of the Year award. Really? Now you're trying to ask Kiowa to say you're not a side chick, but you admitted to Melody while you were getting your tummy massage muscle last episode that you were a side chick. So what is it? You're trying. I think that was a scene, kind of like Hannah was saying. It was a dominant scene. I'm the wife now. You can't talk to me like this. You got to show me some respect. That's all Kimmy was doing. But I think Kai will handle it, because she was like, look, I don't even like you. I'm not even going to address you. But if this is what you need, because I know you got my son at the house, I'm going to be respectful. And that's it. But, she's a side chick. She's like the peasant or pygmies. They think that they have the authority to talk to legitimate women who are actually wives and can put them down and say they need to say certain things. No, Kimmy, you're a side chick. You're an adulterer. That's what you are. Allegedly, that's how you got your first child, being the cleanup woman. So if that's what you do, I mean, I'm not going to, I don't think you're a person. You've done well with your nursing career, but I'm not going to say you're legitimate when you come from illegitimate means. That's who you are. So just own in it Get you a peasant outfit from that little boutique she has on there and just do your thing. That's all I say on that, you know. But the next episode, Driving Miss Daisy, aka Stormisha. Have you noticed she always turns her nose up? It gets bigger, you know, she always it protrudes out when she's pissed. But I didn't understand why she would bring her chauffeur just to a Bahama Mama fruit thing. That really is appropriate. So that's why you spending all your money. You spending money just to show that you rich at a Bahama Mama. Now we're
Yeah.
not talking about an elegant dinner, you name it, but we're talking about a Bahama Mama juice thing. And I'm glad Melody came late because this was, what in the world was that? Come on now, you really? Oh goodness, that's just that woman.
I think it shows she might be like, she really admires Mel deep down and she feel like she has to do that kind of stuff.
But you have to do that. Where's your G-Wagon? Where's that gold-plated G-Wagon? You can't drive that. Just
she ghetto fabulous.
I just didn't understand. I am the star. I am the star. No, you're not. And Melody checked her. I said, if we had a problem, I wouldn't have rolled up and brought you to the tea. She know full well you trifling trick, just like your mama. Get out of here. And I thought she handled it, like Hannah said, very appropriately, because again, she's setting her boundaries. She doesn't have to act ratchet. She doesn't have to go fight anybody, but she knows this is co-workers. This is for a show. So she'll give you the time of the day and move on. But I just, you can tell hood rich doesn't understand. Rich folks don't bring a Rolls Royce or a Bentley with chauffeur to a dang Bahama Mama juice thing. Oh my Lord.
And she wore a suit. She is wearing a suit and Mel wore sweatshirt and leggings.
It's a Bahama Mama juicy. This is where you go after you work out. You know what I'm saying? Here we getting the juice. Now, if she wanted beef Wellington steak or something like that, Don Coyon, then we can do that and go do the stuff. But what this?
Yes.
Oh, childhood rich. Oh, Jesus, God, I can't. Oh. I can't on that. Hood rich. I mean, ghetto fabulous. I mean, I don't even call that ghetto fabulous. That's trifling fabulous. That is just a hot mess. Wasting your money. You could have been sending out packages with dogged hair to other people. It's a problem, Stormisha. I'm sorry. I'm calming down. I'm sorry, Hannah. I had hot flashes from people wasting money on chauffeurs and going to a Bahama Mama juicy. I just don't get it. But I guess the next thing. Okay. Did she have her butt injections from Mexico before she arrived? Is that why they rove in the same places, different places? Because all I saw was ass.
It was big, wasn't it?
It was huge ass. Now, is it true? I think someone said that Hotel did the Funky Dineva Botox thing. Is that why he was looking a hot mess? Yeah, I thought he was looking like Pancake 57 with Little Richard because I was going to sing Tutti Frutti on Rudy for him while he walked in. That didn't make sense.
Right. He was so swollen underneath the eyes and his cheeks right in the front.
He should have kept his glasses on. I would have approved the glasses so we wouldn't have seen that. That was a hot mess.
Yes.
But she just came in, and this is the sad thing. This just shows you how they do need Melody because ass, that's what I'm gonna call her, ass didn't come with any agenda, nothing. And I found out from Black Titanic last night, allegedly in our opinion, that's the same venue that Hotel had when he did his upscale magazine, you name it, with Cougar Peach Cobbler coming in. So it's the same venue. That's why, in my opinion, I believe this was a Love and Marriage Huntsville setup. They bought it in order to, allow people to do what they needed to do at the place.
So you don't even think the Scott's business paid for it? You really think like, oh,
This was production. This was Carlos. He needed to have a storyline. Okay, let's give an example. Does hotel have any money to pay for that upscale thing?
no.
So you
Well,
know, Rain Entertainment, whatever, paid for it. So it's the same thing with Carlos or with the Smots. They didn't pay for that. They again because think about it, they don't have the money to even get $100. I know that costs more than $100.
yeah, to book the venue.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it had to be production. It was a production set. So then that asks the question, where did this money go for that you were asking for? Who are you paying? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
because they're not paying anybody.
No, and they keep remember they kept saying it's for the community. It's for the community. What community? Who's getting the money? Have you seen any donations? I found out Margarine bum on couch, 12 arrest records allegedly, couldn't even pay $20,000 to do the charity fight that was asked. So where's the money? If they're supposedly having $17 million and they're rich, they don't have money. They're broke. This is all smoke and mirrors. They know what they're doing. They're just lying in front of our faces again.
Hannah
That is
felt like
crazy.
Courtney was crying sincere, like she felt like the tears were deeper than the family issues with kids. She felt like they're probably very stressed
They're
out
broke.
over that.
They're broke. She as PBE's coming up here. They're probably running a Ponzi scheme. They're pay, I mean, if you're paying for chauffeurs to go to a Bahama Mama juicy, that's too much money. You're overspending. It doesn't make sense. You're not getting the products out. And then also, from what we heard allegedly, this public record, um, Canvas Beauty lost their licensing in Alabama Secretary of State's office in 2022. So they were probably operating illegally and it shouldn't have been, allegedly, in my opinion. So this is why they're all over the place. And instead of being honest and hiring counsel, hiring a CPA to help you get your books right, they're trying to do their thing by themselves and just make it look like they're business people. It's just sick. It's just sick.
Well, I'm going to let Pretty Brown Eyes speak her heart and then we'll circle back to Hannah. What's up, Pretty Brown Eyes? Thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me up. Hello, Anonymous. Hello, Miss Hannah Grace. And hello, Styles and Spirit in chat.
Hey,
Um,
Hello.
pretty girl.
Hi y'all. I guess we'll just go down the line and I'll be brief, just touch on a little bit of everything that you kind of went over. That scene right there, just looking at it, it's a mismatch. If Kiowa sat there and looked at her like she was just a ghost or something. Like she didn't see it for her. It didn't matter what Kimmy was saying. Kiowa wasn't having it. But my opinion on that whole interaction is a little bit different from everybody else's, I guess. Only because Kimmy was a single woman. Okay? How can a single woman be a side chick to a well, I mean, I know how she can be a side chick, but my point is, he was the one committing adultery, and he was the one that had a wife and a family, and he knew all of this. So, why is all of the attention put on Kimmy to make it right? Meaning, why is everybody saying Kimmy's a side chick when she's only going by what her man or her boyfriend said allegedly? I just never understood how come a lot of women always blame the woman when it's somebody that's a lot more culpable to put the blame on.
The
Because in this
husband.
situation, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was agreeing. I was saying the
Oh,
husband. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, her ex-husband. So she's sitting up there looking like you ruined my marriage, shout out to Tisha. But in all actuality, Maurice was playing games with both of them. And instead of her being mad at Maurice, from what they're showing, she's mad at Kimmy. And she's only mad at Kimmy because I guess in her mind, Kimmy ruined the hope of them getting back together. Because once he married her or got engaged to her, the hope of them being together was over. But in my opinion, I feel like he only even married Kimmy because he knew it was his time to get the child and he was going to need a caretaker for Maurice Jr. once he got to Huntsville. That's just my opinion. I feel like if he wasn't going to get full custody of those children, of his child, he would have never married Kimmy. He had her on the string for 7 years and didn't even think enough of her to defend her. Season 1, season 2, season 3. And even when he got on the last reunion, when he somewhat defended her, he was like, oh, if I call you an alien, does that make you an alien? This is just stupid. He could have shut all of this down long time ago, but everybody wants to call Kimmy a side chick and put her in that category, and I just don't understand why. It's not like she's doing what Ariana is doing. They were living in different states. He was the bum on somebody else's couch and had already signed paperwork. So why is she sitting at the table with this lady 10 years later looking for an apology that she is not going to get? Because even though Kiowa moved on and she's taking care of Kiowa's son and doing all of this fighting cancer, Kiowa still do not see it for her, and she blames her for taking her husband, I guess. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, it's a mouthful. I'm sorry. This conversation right here, in my opinion, Stormy was trying to bait Mel into so she could have some type of beef with her. Stormy saw herself and her mom and all of those text messages and messages from the group chat and Petty Piggy and Wanda and all of them uniting together against Melody, talking about Melody's children, talking about Melody's box, talking about Martell, talking about everything that they can talk about. And Stormy not one time came out against anything that any of them said about Melody. Not once. So, how dare you sit in my face and try to get something out of me that, number one, she didn't give her, and number two, you sitting there being the passive aggressive person because you knew your mama didn't like Mel when you bought your behind on the show. You knew that, and you sat right there, and that lady tried to play in that lady face and pretend like you don't control what your mama do, but you do in fact control what your mama do. Because if y'all remember back when they was in the car when they was fighting with Wanda, she told her mama to be quiet, and what her mama do? Her mama shut her dang on mouth, didn't she?
Yes, she did after the
Okay,
fight.
so
Yeah.
you can't tell me that you can't control what your mama does. You can. All your mama was doing was speaking how you truly feel, because Stormy comes off as a person that it don't matter how much she has, she don't want anybody to have more than her. And she was already low key envious of Mel because Mel had what she wanted. Mel had the show, Mel has the looks, and Mel has the star power and the yeah, the star power. She has the fan support, and that's something that I don't care how much money Stormy allegedly claims she had, which I beg to differ a long time ago. She's not an it girl, and she's just not. Did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well that's just it on that. And Mel is better than me because by this point when they sat down, Mel had done already found out about everything that Miss Betty and Peggy and Wanda and all of them were uniting together, and Destiny had done said about her. And now you got the nerve to want to sit down and film with this lady and be mad that she not gonna let you play in her dang on face on this show. And that's just that on that one.
I feel
Yeah.
you. Good job. Did you have any thoughts
Yeah, yeah.
about?
Oh, this right here. This is just the misfits. No, nobody knows what they're doing. Martell always hid in Melody's shadow. Maurice, he's the one that kind of talks a lot like he has some sense, but he doesn't have any business acumen. If we want to really go back to it, Maurice was a barber, well, a preacher or deacon turned barber, turned credit repair, turned lawyer, turned contractor. Will a real Maurice please stand up? I think he worked with Tommy Strong off of Martin. That's why I think he worked.
Ain't got no job.
Ain't got no dang gone job, right? And it's like they were so used to Mel being, being the assertive person that she is. She's gonna spearhead the vendors. She's gonna spearhead she knows exactly what to do, how to get it set up. Or if she doesn't know, she can delegate and get a party planner that will that will whip that room together. She'll have a what you call it, an agenda, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. She'll have an agenda and the bullet points, what everybody needs to do, when and where, and how that you can put the whole pieces together so that it would be a great event rollout. Tisha cannot even pronounce expo, and we just gonna leave that at that.
Expo,
No, I
Expo.
Expo,
get that.
expo, the expo. So Martell got his lick back. I agree with somebody said that in the comments. He got his lick back by somewhat flirting or let his eyes go too long on the girl booty. But that's what she wanted, because if you remember, she dressed it. I can't even talk. Lord, she dressed very, very homely. And when she was in that meeting with the realtor, when she called herself doing an interview, she said she doesn't have a lot of interaction with adults. She's only around children, namely her own children. Marceau didn't even let her out of the basement, in my opinion, to go to do anything except go to the grocery store and go run errands for the household. So now she done got her BBL. She's wearing her weaves now. She's feeling herself somewhat, and she's low key, in my opinion, in competition with the girls that her no good husband allegedly likes. Because remember, she's been going through his phone and seeing all of the pictures and the type of women in the booty pics that um he likes. So in my opinion, she's dressing for her man to try to get him back, because she's competing with all of those big booty women that hang out in black and hang out in the boom boom room or wherever they go. That's why Keisha's dressing like that, in my opinion.
That's a
Because
very good point. That's a very good point that you make. She's trying to look like the girls that she know he likes. Go
that
ahead.
he likes. She's competing with them in her mind, because he's not at home. And I don't care what nobody say. They keep showing up at events separately. They already said her and the girls are living in the apartment. He's supposed to be living in the old house. So whenever she sees him, she got to remind him of what he has at home. So she has to put on her hurt me outfit to try to get his attention. And he could care less. You know, if she's the project manager of this event, why are you showing up dressed like a hoochie mama? I'm not saying she don't look good. That's a very good body she paid for. I want to know who the doctor is. Because the BBL is BB Ellen. Shout out to Letitia from Bell Collective. But that's not an appropriate outfit to wear when you're conducting business or a business expo. You're showing up like you're trying to get the attention of all of the men that are there. And they can't help but look at it because it's there. And then you got your boobs out, you got your butt out, you got on your little Minnie Mouse shoes, and you got your weave. And it's like, how can anybody really focus on whatever it is that you're talking about? Because it's a distraction. So,
But you
and
are
then
spot on, PB. She's trying to get her husband's attention back.
she's trying to get her man's attention. So she don't see him. So whenever they show up to film, she got to put on her best hurt me outfit. So maybe he might come to the apartment and visit her and the children. In my opinion. And I don't think it don't matter what she put on because he went to Africa for a month and didn't care about her or the children, in my opinion, or what she was wearing. And if y'all think back, just think back. She didn't start dressing like that till he came back from Africa.
Yeah, she was thick then. Yeah, she got thick then.
Yeah, agreed. And people are saying it in the chat too. Tish is dressing like night and day compared to prior. You're right.
Yeah, she's trying to get his attention. Bum on the couch showing up with his suit on. He don't even work anywhere. I don't even understand why he's stressing poke Kimmy out. But I guess the last thing that I'll say about it is Kimmy, they got a song called Don't Save Her. She don't want to be saved. So if she like it, I love it. I don't want no more of it. And I'm not gonna windmill for her because she all but blamed the people in the comments for defending her. We were wrong for defending her. We were outrageous. We went too far. No, your husband went too far. You're fighting cancer, and this man wants you to cook, clean, and take care of his son, and he don't have no job, in my opinion. So, that's just all it is about that. As far as Stormy is concerned and her setup, and them bickering about the $100, I think it's a joke. I think it's a storyline. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But we'll see, I guess. And that's pretty much all I
Can
have
I
to
just
say about the episodes.
can I just reply to you, Pretty Brown Eyes, about the comment that women are saying that giving Kimmy a hard time about this side chick stuff?
You sure
Okay,
can.
remember that we first heard this from Martell. He's not a woman, he is a man. Maurice also said that she was a side chick when they went to Las Vegas.
Sure
And the
did.
only thing I'm saying is, listen, this conversation should have been already passed, should not even be coming back up. Kimmy is the one that keep bringing it back up because she's mad at a woman who had nothing to do with the side chick comment, even though she says she implied it. This woman owes you nothing, so let it go. That's why people are continuing to bring it back up, because she's the one that's bringing it back up.
Okay, and I'll reply to you. In my opinion, I agree with what you're saying, with the difference being Kimmy's not bringing it up. It's her bald head dumb husband that's bringing it up, triangulating with Kimmy and Kawa because he doesn't want to face the fact that he's a sorry behind dad to his son. So he's throwing this side chick comment back up to distract everybody. And since when do we hold any credence to anything that Martell says? Martell at that time had done made that girl had three or four unalived children on his beautiful wife and family. So what he got to say don't mean nothing to me. As far as Kimmy and the side chick stuff, Kaiwa did say it with Tisha, and she agreed that Kimmy was the so-called side chick. But my whole point is, you can feel however you want to feel. Not meaning you, Hannah. I mean just people, period. But we got to go by the facts. The facts is he was the bum on his sister couch. Okay, Kiowa had already done took the sister husband that he was the bum on the couch for, and they moved out of town, and she had done married him or was with him, because that's why they weren't together no more. And if anything, she was a side chick, in my opinion. Logically thinking, Kimmy was single. The onus of responsibility laid on the person married, which was Maurice.
Okay,
Kimmy
but
wasn't. But hold on, Miss Hannah.
That's
Hold
not
on.
making any sense.
How does it not make sense? Kimmy
That
was
doesn't make
not
any sense.
married.
That doesn't make any sense. Neither, neither.
How does hold on, Miss Hannah. How does it
No,
not
that's not
make
Miss
sense?
Hannah. That's Red Ann.
Oh, Red Ann, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, how does it not make sense when he was the bum on the couch and had already signed divorce papers? So we're really playing semantics here, because yes, technically he was married, but in all actuality, Kyle was in another state with another man, and he was in Huntsville dating around and just ended up with Kimmy. How is
Well,
that
how do
okay,
we?
Kimmy's fault?
How do we
okay,
know?
Renee,
How do
let
we
me
know
say
that
one
Kyle
last
was
thing.
with another man?
Yeah, let me just say one last thing. First of all, when I said Martell was the one that bought it up, he did. And
He
so
did.
apparently there was some credence to it, because Maurice said it, and it
Exactly.
came out it is actually true that
Maurice
she
told it
was
to
his
his
side chick.
brother.
Hold on,
Mhm.
one at a time. Now I can't understand both of y'all. One at a
I
time,
said
and I
Maurice.
answer back.
Miss Hannah's correct. Maurice told it to his brother. So if she should have a problem with anyone saying that she's a side chick, it should be her husband. She should, I mean, while she's asking Kyle for an apology, she should be having her husband go before anybody that would be willing to let him have a platform to talk about it. He should be the one apologizing.
But that's what I said. He's the one that has her sitting in front of Kyle in the first place. They shouldn't be talking about nobody but that son. And if
But
Kyle was any kind of mama, she when once Kimmy was diagnosed with cancer and going under treatments, she should have came and got her son, irregardless of any of that, because she knew what kind of dad Maurice was. She was married to him. She knew he didn't cook and clean and really be there for the son, and the son told her as much. The son said, I don't even want to come and live here with y'all.
so
But y'all
so
made him. So the
so
only conversation that those two women should have had was about the son and how they were going to effectively co-parent, because there's no way you're going to hold me responsible to take care of your son when y'all don't even include me in anything to do with your son, outside of making sure he eats in and he has a place to stay. It's like
Pretty
she's the
brown eyes.
glorified babysitter.
All that might be true, but we were not talking about that. We were talking about the side chick comment. And
right.
what I'm
And I was
saying,
talking about the side chick comment too. How can the single woman be a side chick of a man who signed divorce papers?
Okay,
okay,
Explain.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about time frame for a second. Okay, so Monster is a sophomore. So he's probably about 15, 16 maybe, right?
that's correct.
Okay. So they stated on the show that they dated for 8 years. Didn't they date for like 8
7.
years?
7
7 years.
years.
7 years?
Yeah.
7 years.
Okay. So if he's a sophomore, then are they saying that he was what, 6 or 7 when they first met? Is that what they're saying?
Most likely he was. He was pretty young when he
So,
came to live with them, because remember when they had that conversation, he had a hat on and he walked in the kitchen when they were talking about it, and he spent back around and went back in the room. So he
mm-hmm.
was at least about, I would say about 8.
Yeah,
If
I
Okay.
thought he looked like a middle
he was
schooler
probably about,
when we first
he
saw
had to
him.
be at least
Well,
9 or 10, because if he's going on 15, 16, he was at least 9 or 10 then. And it's
No,
gonna
he was
take
12.
time.
He was 12, Pretty Brown Eyes, because the deal was when he become a teenager that he
right.
was going to go and live with Kimmy them.
Right, but he probably was there for the summer when the show first came on. He didn't live with them full time yet, but he was coming and spending the summers and spending time with them. Remember when they had the conversation saying that, what are you going to do when you get him this summer? And he didn't even think enough to look into the camps that he wanted his son to go to. And
I
Kimmy was
I
remember
thought
like,
that.
okay,
I thought you were
y'all
talking
remember
about
that?
the scene where he came into the kitchen and Maurice was at that time they were already talking about Munster coming to live with them. So he was
Correct.
at least 11 or 12. So
Not at that time though. He didn't full time come
okay,
and
that's
live
fine.
with
It don't
them
matter.
until it was
I got
13.
you.
Well,
It doesn't matter. But the whole point I'm making is he signed divorce papers regardless. If at best she was a side chick unbeknownst to her, and he was playing games with Kiowa, giving her false hope. But at no point, Kiowa doesn't owe her anything, and Kimmy doesn't owe Kiowa anything. And they shouldn't have let that man gaslight her. Kimmy shouldn't have let him gaslight her to come and talk to Kiowa for anything, because they had already settled this on the last reunion.
Okay.
so are so
I'm
are
Not
you
sure.
this last
saying
one, but the reunion prior to the last one. They had Kiowa on there and they so-called settled it. Y'all don't remember that?
We understand that, but Pretty Brown Owls, I was trying to get to the fact that you said that women are calling her a side chick and you had an issue with that. My only thing,
I don't have an issue with it. I just don't understand how you can
well,
call
can
a
we
woman
explain it to
a
you?
side chick. No, you can't explain it to me, because you can
Because you
feel how
don't
you
listen.
feel.
well,
Okay.
it was a
No, no, no,
question.
no,
You
no, no, no,
asked a
no.
question.
No, my point that I made, and y'all can go back and forth all y'all want to. My point is, I'm just gonna be realistic and logical. Okay?
So you're saying
Kiowa
we're
don't
not being
like. Well, just
logical
let me
because we
finish, and
have
then
a
y'all can go
different.
back and forth, because I'm not gonna argue with y'all about how y'all feel about it.
But
I
Pretty
It's
Brown
feel
not
Eyes,
a
the
we're not
going
same.
back and forth.
arguing.
It's just that we're trying to talk and you're not listening.
No, but I don't have to listen to y'all. I just came up here to give my points on the show. I'm not up here to debate my point with you about how y'all feel about Kimmy. My point
When
is, and I'm gonna leave it at that. No, 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 no.
no,
I
no,
didn't
no, no, no,
interrupt you.
no, no,
I
You
no,
didn't
no.
said
But
interrupt
you're the
why?
you,
one that's not
because
You
listening.
my
asked
point.
why.
No, no, no. My point is this. She can come back to you, and I'll just be quiet. My point is this. Maurice was the one married. Kimmy was single, dating him. He also dated other women. Okay? Maurice signed divorce papers. And then they so called, if we're going to go by everything they said on the show, that's when they started dating heavily. We don't know what Maurice was doing behind the scenes to make Kaiwa feel however she feels about Kimmy. And the onus of responsibility still lies on the husband. It shouldn't be on the woman. That's all I'm saying. Because she was
Right.
single
You
and
said
dating.
that 3 times and we get that.
Okay,
We
so why?
understand.
What are y'all trying to convince me of?
We're not
Because
trying
I
to
don't feel
convince
that
you of
she was a side
anything.
chick. I just still don't feel that she was a side chick. I feel that at best,
Okay.
it was unbeknownst to her, and Maurice was playing games. He should be the person in the hot seat, not Kimmy, who's fighting cancer, to explain to an ex-wife that cheated on him with the sister's husband anything. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
We get that. Okay. I understand that. No one is doing what you just said, though. Only thing we're saying is that Kimmy is the one that keep bringing it up, because she was the one that thought Kiowa called her a side chick, and she questioned that woman's integrity when she did it. She is wrong for that. I don't care if Maurice was playing her. She's 10 years older than that man. You can't tell me she did not have the responsibility as she was dating this man to find out if he was married or not.
But all she can do is go by what he says. And Maurice set up that meeting. Kimmy didn't want to talk to Kiowa. Kimmy didn't even want to talk to Kiowa when he jumped up and called her on FaceTime talking about Mustard, gaslighting her then.
But
So
Kimmy
it's
didn't
like
have to do the meeting.
Kimmy didn't have to do the meeting, but Kimmy is I don't know what to say. She drank the Kool-Aid. She's gone to the rock. I don't know what she is. I don't know what kind of hold this man got over her. She could be desperate. I don't know.
And that's the
But
and that's the reason.
She sat there and took that meeting because her husband asked her to.
And that's probably why she was believing all the other things that Maurice was telling her before they got married.
She did.
So at the end of it, I mean, if the facts come out, you may not like it, but if you were a side chick, you were a side chick.
But she wasn't. But see, I guess we got to go to what is the definition of a side chick.
Okay, so
to me, if she was,
okay, let me in each state it may be different as far as signing your divorce decree. When you sign a divorce decree, there is still, I think, maybe 30, 60 days before it's actually final. Because, they still, have that grace period. So are you saying that they then started going hot and heavy when they signed a decree and was waiting on it to come in the mail?
That's what Maurice said.
Because
that's what Maurice said. Maurice and Kimmy said that to her knowledge, he told her he had already signed the papers and he had moved to Huntsville with his sister. So from that point, they went, they continued to court and went on about their business. And from there, like I said, at best she's she's a side chick unbeknownst to her.
And she should have a even bigger problem with her now husband.
True.
But she doesn't. I just explained when I was talking that she's blaming the
ex-wife
people in the comments, and she's blaming everybody for going in on him. So she's drinking the Kool-Aid. So I'm defending her. It's just the fact that it's just hard to be considered a side chick. I guess I'm looking at it like she's not a chick. I would consider Ariana a side chick. You actively dating and messing with a married man while he's in a marriage. She's dating somebody that happened to be married, waiting for his divorce to go through. That's just a big difference to me.
I think that because when Melody treated Kimmy to, it was like a spa where that machine was running kind of loud.
Yes.
Kimmy told Melody, she said, well, they signed the papers, but Kiowa thought that they were going to reconcile. And correct. So to me, that kind of lets me know, like, Kimmy was like the side chick, because I feel like Maurice, he was telling them two different stories. He had Kimmy thinking, we've signed the papers, we're going to get a divorce. But I think he was still messing around. It ain't even really messing around, because Kiowa was his wife. Right. And I think whatever he was telling Kiowa, she thought in her mind that they were reconciling. So that to then see this relationship over here, then I think Kiowa was like, oh no, he was reconciling with me at the same time that he was sexing her. And I do think, like Virgo said, realistically, people do like start dating, once they've started the divorce process and they know they're going to walk away. But if you're still, reconciling with your wife over here, now you real dirty. And I think that's what confusion is.
And that's the part where, I think because I think you agree to disagree. There's a difference between having the petition for the divorce and then you actually have the judgment of the divorce where you're ended it.
Right.
So I think probably bum on couch, 12 arrest records allegedly. Margarine Maurice was playing both of them. And
Yeah,
he
I
was
think there
having
was
sex
some
with both
overlap.
of them, and that's what he was doing to do his narcissistic triangulation. And what you just saw with the episode is he's still having them do a narcissistic triangulation because he wants to get supply off of them, fighting with each other. That's it.
And I want to say, Red Ann, thank you for your patience. I apologize to you. I didn't want to interrupt anyone. So when they were discussing basically like the definition of a side chick or speaking their sides, I didn't want to interrupt, but I also did want to acknowledge you. What did you think about the episode?
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. This is my first time up. Hey, ladies, I've been on some of the other panels with them.
Hi, Red Ann.
Hey.
Hello, Red.
Hey, how are you? I just wanted to say, I guess in the meaning of a side chick, I guess when you are a single woman, um, looking to date, you do over time, you know, go to the person's home, see where they live, talk about, things that they do, those type of things. So in a course of in a time frame of, I guess, getting to know somebody, you know, things can come up, that may not jive with, that may not sound right, or okay, let me keep that in the back of my mind, those type of things. But I hope that being a single woman raising a son, because she has said on a previous episode that she pursued him. She heard about him. He was barbering somewhere, and she said that she needed a barber to cut her son's hair. So I really do believe that, I mean, if you would pursue somebody, you know, in that way, I would hope you being smart enough that you would really find out if the man is married or not. Whether it's separated, that's married. Whether the papers were signed, that's still married. You have to physically have that divorce decree in your hand where it's stamped and signed by that judge to now say, we're not married anymore. And if she didn't have that to look at, I I would be looking at him like, you're still married. Period. You're still married. That's my take on that.
And that actually is legitimate because, a lot of people, and this is what I mean, where even though a person files it, there are spouses. Like, we'll give a perfect example. Kim Zolciak and her husband filed,
Right.
but after they had their little squabble, they decided to end the divorce. So that's why a lot of people will tell you in the courts, there's a reason there's a cool off period. You technically should stay separated and kind of show that you're doing it before it gets done. But some people still do it. But that's the choice that Kimmy took. She took a guy who she pursued. And, I know she's upset about being a side chick. I don't think she's as disrespectful as the peasant is to Melody and Martell or Hotel's relationship. But again, if Kai was thinking they're reconciling and that's what Maurice is leading her on and they're having sex, which still is considered part of the marriage while they're married, that's kind of like what it happens. But, I just think the only thing probably that disturbs us is Kimmy was asking Iowa to not call her a side chick. That's my part. I'm like, you should be talking about the son, Maurice Jr. Why are we talking about this when you have them? Just take them. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's Carlos' queen because he wants to have dissension with the women to help Maurice out. That's what I'm getting.
And let me say one other thing. You remember that comment that Kimmy made when she said that she's no longer upset with Kyra because she won the prize. If
Did she
you
say
are
that?
not in competition with anyone, why are you worried about a prize? So that lets me know even she thought she was in competition with this woman.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
she
that part.
was. She
Yeah.
wanted to be, and I mean, I think I said it a little bit. eh, She has a pick me or side chick mentality. She wanted to one up. And there are people that do it. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't think she's so disrespectful. I mean, it's disrespectful in the sense of their marriage because they also have a son that was impacted. There's all impacts. But I think what I was impressed, and I'll give both of these ladies credit at the table, even though Maurice was trying to gaslight them into having a conflict. Did you see how Kiowa didn't want to go there?
Mm-hmm.
She was the mature adult to say, okay, if it makes you feel better, let me just say it. Let's
Right.
move on. Because I got a son. My son isn't doing well because his daddy don't even want to help him. You got more important things to deal with. And plus, she probably even had some sympathy for her because she is dealing with the C word, cancer. You know, it's time to get over this stuff. But adults know how to do that. You can still talk about the past, but at a point, it is what it is, and you move on.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is so true. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Anonymous.
Yeah, we would. Well, it happens. I mean, that's what we do. Things the way it works. But I was very impressed with those two women at that table. They didn't go into the baiting of fighting each other. They handled it like adults because there are bigger things to worry about. And as you see, Kyle were probably looking at Kimmy going like, "Now you know what I'm dealing with," because
Right.
this is how he is.
Right. She probably
You know
said
what I mean?
he is yours now. But I mean, I look at the bigger picture of Kimmy, you have a bigger problem on your hand, and it is the one that you have made marital vows to. That's that's the bigger problem, I think, for you.
Yeah, and Kyle knows it if you notice.
So
She's seeing in that room. You could tell Kai was observing to see her son as well as Kimmy and Maurice's relationship. It doesn't look good at all. They're having trouble.
I really don't think Monster wants to be there. He is a spitting image of Kiowa. Um, yes, I do agree with, Maurice needs to be there to teach him how to be a man. But in order to teach him how to be a man, you have to be a stand-up man yourself. And if you're not, then you're going to lead your son down the wrong path. And it's going to be like a generational dysfunctional thing.
Did you notice Red Ann? He made that comment when to Maurice while they were playing basketball about how he was competing with Maurice Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've noticed the thing that people have to realize: these narcopaths or people who have the 10 traits of being a malignant or sociopathic narcissist, they compete with their kids, they compete with the women, they compete with everybody. And I noticed Maurice looked like he felt insufficient in front of his son because his son is very attractive. He's definitely more athletic than he is. And he has a great relationship with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Maurice never really had a great relationship with his mother. And I was shocked he made that comment to him while they were playing basketball for the first time. It didn't make sense to me why he would say that on TV.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. um, yeah. I mean, I love to support Mel and everything that she has going on. And I haven't, I really haven't gotten into the Detroit one. I tried, but I just couldn't because it's too many similarities like Huntsville. Um, and I just really never got into DC. So I'm not sure, what the longevity of this show is going to be. Um, but there's just there's a lot that really needs to change. I can definitely say this is not portraying Black excellence at all. Not at all. I mean, to have so many people that are members of the cast, and you have one person, one person that is showing Black excellence and how to move as a positive business owner, as a person that wants to give back to the community, okay, that actually shows it. And it's like they don't want to show that. It's like they don't want to show positivity. All they want to show is ratchetness and confusion. And, it gets to the point where it gets really draining, to even watch it, because you kind of know what's getting ready to happen. It's always going to be somebody going at another person. They can't definitely stand up there and say, I'm all about, Black business, giving back to the community and things like that. And the entire time that they've been on this show, they haven't done that. They absolutely haven't done that. So stop portraying that you're for Northwest Huntsville when Martell himself says, "Oh, I don't want to go back there." But that's where you were from. That's where you are from. So to make it seem like, it's now at the bottom of your feet, that's the reason why you keep going this route that you're going. God gonna put you back there. God is gonna put you back there.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, I heard from Black Titanic that she knew Montez and Hotel when they grew up.
Mm.
And she said that they terrorized the heck out of everybody in that community.
Wow.
So this is the fear. Hotel appears to be following the steps of his father. And that's the part that's scary. Melody, in all fairness, Melody was the best thing that ever happened to them. I was telling, it was last night, we were on Pretty Brown Eyes panel. The reports have Hotel tried to take the builder's license exam again and he failed it. Open book, even though he had a tutor. He has a learning disability. Open book. He's failed it 8 or 9 times. He can't do it. So since that time, he's been strategizing, trying to destroy Melody because his cover has been blown. And what's so sad is, out of everybody on the cast, Melody and Vanessa were the only people that really cared for Martell or Hotel. The only ones. You know what I mean? To just try to help. All the rest of those people on that cast laugh at him. And, if you really cared for somebody, there's no way in the world he should have lost his family knowing he has this learning disability like this. There's no way.
Well, I just think Martell wanted to do what he saw the others doing. And, in my opinion, he thought, oh, okay, I see Marceau doing it. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and try.
But I think it runs a little deeper than that. Like you say, this goes back to Martell's mindset, his upbringing, and a whole lot of other things. He was so used to getting away with dating 2 women. That's what in his mind he wanted that. He wanted a girlfriend. Now notice Melody been calling the coleslaw lady a girlfriend now. I think Melody has a strategy and I'm loving it. But either way it go, Martell, you cannot tell me he's in the position right now because really this is what he deserves, and this is where it was inevitable for him to get to, because he was really thinking that Melody was going to stay in this relationship. Yes, Coleslaw was definitely going to do it, but Melody was not going to do it. And that is where but she did it so long, so he thought that she was going to stay in the relationship. And look at him now, he's going through this man. But see, he miscalculated. He thought that it was him, that it was his works that got him and Melody where they were. He was mistaken greatly, because it was not, it was Melody. It was not until she left that he realized, oh, wait a minute, I can't do this. His
Right.
money is gone, everything, and he can't get it back. So he's lashing out at Melody because he's mad because she went on. Melody has gone on. I think she is free from Martell. I said it before and I said it again, say it again. She has dealt with Martell. She is through dealing with him. She's won on that level. Now when it comes to her children, this is the only thing that she's fighting for right now. And to sever every hold that Martell has on her, anything that's attached to Martell, she tried to sever that, which she got rid of the name. And I think on that last lie that Coleslaw did, I can't remember her calling him Holt, but she kept on calling that little boy Holt before Melody got that divorce. Now, I mean, not the divorce, but the name change. Melody is, because the name Holt in that community is not good now.
It's
Melody, it's like people look at now, you can see that the name Holt is related to criminals.
Criminal.
But when Melody had it, it was a different type of name. How can I put it? It has some credibility to the name. Now it doesn't. Now them people probably looking at him like, oh, Holt criminals, Holt scammers, Holt cheater, Holt no, this man has been so unfaithful to his family. So that's what it has taken on. And now you got a side chick with the baby named Hope. Nobody wants to be attached to that, in my opinion. So the bottom line is Martell, he played a stupid game and won a stupid prize, and so did Coleslaw.
And you know what, Hannah Grace? To piggyback off what you said, that's probably why he delayed her from getting her name changed. I think he's trying to change his name to Rogers right about now, child.
That's right. Hey,
Because
I
the
bet he
only
wish
time
he
the
could.
hope meant something is when she was attached to it and attached to him. That's why when she came on that reunion stage and Carlos called her Melody Cherie, he was like, Hope, Hope, Hope. He wanted to make sure everybody knows that she was, a Holt.
No longer.
Not no longer. No, she dropped that zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And for Marceau to run over to Stormy for $100, 5 20s, 25s, 101s. You went running over to her for $100. $100.
They broke. I
They
mean, it
some
looked like
broke
Stormy.
ninjas.
Yeah, they broke. Shoot, looked like Stormy about broke too. He might have needed some money for gas or something. Who knows?
100. I could not believe that when I saw that. I said, for $100.
Y'all think Wanda paid?
I
Cause
thought
she
the
she had
same
a booth.
thing, Pretty Brown,
She had
Brown Eyes. I
she had a
thought the
booth there
exact
too,
same thing. She sure did. I thought the exact same thing. Did they make her pay for that little booth she had? Because
or
you remember
Destiny.
Tisha did what, like she did went live on her Instagram when it actually happened, and you could actually see Wanda there. So yeah, it makes me wonder, did Wanda pay? Did Destiny pay?
And Carlson is if they don't cut her out, she's also at that expo as well.
I think she was the young lady that they were thinking
Was
was
Coleslaw?
Coleslaw.
Yes,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to when this episode airs and what all is going to come out, because the only reason why Carson was even exposed, if that's what it was, is because she got on the show before Coleslaw did.
Mm-hmm. And they did cut Wanda out of the Mobile Mardi Gras scene because
Hmm.
she was there.
Yeah, I saw her there too, looking
Mm-hmm.
like Witchy Poo.
You know what's amazing? There on the Gossip Girls content, I think a week ago, when Dawn, her manager, Melody's manager, was there. They said people who, I think the lady who was, I forgot who the name was a court TV reporter, had been speaking to Carlos about the direction of Love and Marriage Huntsville and what's been going on. And nobody has been able to reach him and talk to him to get him to stop.
Well, he thinks that what he's doing is good, and he's going to let it ride until the wheels fall off. Maybe they'll have something for him at Zeus. You never know. Because he definitely does not, in my opinion, care about women or the betterment of women. Because, I mean, I watched 20 minutes of the Detroit show, and I turned the TV off of it because it comes on with the husband fussing at the wife. You know, like they're arguing, and then the other one's arguing, and it's just like, man, don't nobody want to see that. It's very, very triggering to see the shows that he puts out. Same as Bill Collective. It's bad TV in my opinion.
It is, and majority of people who watch it are women. That's the part that I'm not understanding with him. Usually men don't watch these shows. It's the women.
Yeah. That's why Bondi Blue has nicknamed OWN the Oppressed Women's Network, because all the relationships are ridiculous. Even on Love and Marriage Detroit, you're right. PBE, you know, she calls him, they're married. When he's not at that house, he's calling her, what you doing? When you're coming home? To me, they're like roommates. That's Brandon and Christina. That's the couple that'll make you be real concerned. He's giving like Martell vibes.
Yeah, and then the other one that she had to make come back from Atlanta, and then the other one is like you arguing with a man's wife about her husband. It's like, where do they find these guys at? Like, I don't know. I'm not watching it myself, I guess.
Hannah, I don't think we've heard from you in a few minutes. What were your thoughts? And Virgo, if you're still watching, come back on up.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with everyone except the side chick thing. But other than that, it's our responsibility as women, you know, and I know we can say something and believe something, but that does not mean that it's true. Just because I think that I'm not a side chick and I was messing with this man's husband, this woman's husband while they were married, which may have caused which it may have caused them to go ahead on and get a divorce. That doesn't mean that I wasn't a side chick just because he was lying to me. And once we realize, I think Kimmy is coming to the realization that she may have played a part in this. She will, until she admit that and set herself free from this, because if she continues to question this woman's integrity, and that is where I have a problem with Kimmy. And I just did not like the way she handled this situation. When you're dealing with a family, that is a marriage. God put, when it says in the scriptures, and I believe in the Bible, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And I think that when you interfere with a relationship, that is a problem for me. And you have something, you had a part in that. So it may be while you asking her for an apology, you may need to be giving her an apology, in my opinion. And all of this stuff with the shows, I only watch Bell Collective and Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I used to watch them maybe 3 or 4 times or whatever. Now it's one time and I'm out, because Carlos King is not doing the right thing when it comes to this show. If you ask me, when he bought Miss Wanda onto the show for one reason, and it turned completely around, and all you get all of her ratchetness with her calling Melody all out of her name, talking about the kids, talking about the paternity of Sugar Mama, getting on his show and talking all of that foolishness, going on to her live, doing all of that stuff, and she's still doing the same thing. Not the same thing. She has toned it down a little bit, but she's still acting ratchet because her and Miss Peggy was on her live last week. They were still talking about Melody, still talking about what she called the meters, and calling all and just saying all kinds of crazy stuff. I know you have your opinion. You can express your opinion. That's fine. But why would you want that Miss Wanda on the show and not Miss Van? Those are the things that I have a question. I question Carlos when he comes and bring all his ratchetness. Then he gets on his Instagram and talk inspirational stuff, but then you're not practicing what you preach. That to me is, I have a problem with that. And for him to go around with Martell, knowing that Martell was questioning his ex-wife, he was basically trying to make her look like she was the one who was out messing around or wasn't doing what she was supposed to do in her marriage. That's why he was out there cheating with the whole buffet and the whole restaurant. He spin that whole narrative. Then he goes running around town with Martell to give him, to make him look like something he's not, knowing that this man tried to take full custody of those children, knowing that he did try to put out a P video on his ex-wife. He knows all of this, and he continues to run around with Martell and not speak out against Martell. He has not spoken out against Martell. And for him to be what you call a star of what you said is a #1 show on, I think that is a problem. Where you're talking about everything else, and I guarantee you, if Martell has a suit line coming out, Carlos has something to do with paying that $100,000 that Mr. Wilson was needing to get that started. And if you ask me, it's going to be a waste of his money and everybody's time, because nothing Martell does is going to prosper, because he is not doing the right thing he did not do the right thing by his wife, and that's over and that's done. But he continues to do the wrong thing when it comes to his kids. He took away the opportunity for those kids to continue to be on social media or on the show, because I know Mariah was taking acting lessons. She wants to be an actress. She's talked about in her on one of her little videos that Melody did, how she enjoyed being on the show. He took that away from them. But then a week or two later, he brings his son on to social media. What is that, Martell? Why would you do that? Because he continued to do low down things. He's going to continue to get to he's going to continue to be checking in the loss column, because he's loser. He's going to continue to lose because he's not doing the right thing. And the only thing he had to do was change. Leave Melody alone 2 years ago. Go off, like she said, with coleslaw. That's what you wanted to do. Why didn't you do that and leave me the heck alone? But he couldn't do that. That wasn't good enough. He had to try to continue to torture this woman for no reason. And for that, he's going to get everything he deserves.
Well, he thinks that Melody is his property. That's why. He thinks the peasant is his property. He thinks the children are his property, and he could do whatever he wants to them. And Carlos thinks the same thing with how he treats Love and Marriage Huntsville and Melody and even others. They have this view that they're only slaves or objects to them. It's an idol worship. So when you're asking why is he acting like this, is because in his warped mind, or a narcissist's warped mind, they think only people are slaves or objects to them. And when you are no longer of use to them, they try to discard you.
Well,
So
that's just like, I'm sorry, Anonymous.
No, go ahead, Red.
That's just like when he subpoenaed Chris Fletcher and Nell, I guess, and they didn't know that they were being subpoenaed. He was expecting Chris to get up on the stand and lie for him,
Correct.
even though they've made it very clear that they're friends to both of them. Not one over the other, but both of them. So why would you think he would lie to help you and put himself in trouble and to hurt Mel? Mel didn't expect Chris to do that. She said she knew Chris would get up on the stand and tell the truth.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't. The sad thing is with people like that, they think they have you're supposed to have loyalty, undying loyalty to them, but you don't give the reciprocal same.
I just saw someone put in the chat that Melody, on the live, Melody said her husband, not her ex-husband. You have to look at the context in which she said that. She was saying that Martell was her husband when that lady, Coleslaw, was messing with her husband. She said, if there's a lady that's continuing to mess with your husband,
Right.
and that she's talking about at that time, he was her
correct.
husband.
She's not married to him still. That's just, she was defending against what the narcissistic triangulation that Hotel had the peasant do to attack Melody this past week. It's to attack her. But like you said, I think this is the thing that hopefully Melody and her legal team will understand. You don't have to keep going back and forth with them on content creations in the public. Use the courts and finish them. Just, you don't have to sit up here, because it's sad, but I just, in my opinion, allegedly, the Martell that they knew is gone. He's hide now. When she divorced him and ended everything, he is a monster. And you're going to have to understand that you can't rationalize with someone who, in my opinion, I believe has had a narcissistic injury and a collapse. They view you as enemies. And you could tell Melody is understanding he's my enemy now. So you have to treat him as such. It doesn't mean you go unalive them and stuff like that. But what you do is you use the courts civilly and criminally to put the boundaries up. Because he's very reckless right now. Very.
Yeah, I was just saying that someone in the chat said that, made a comment, as if they're saying that Melody still wants Martell as her husband. And I was just,
no, baby, please. No. Honey, when she said in the TV show, when she was talking to Nell after they had practicing the exotic dancing with the lady, she didn't realize that Martell was her enemy. The only reason why she went back to him because she thought there was love and stuff. She didn't understand what love bombing was.
What threats is Melody making?
Huh?
I'm trying to find out what threats is Melody continuing to make. There was a comment that if Melody keeps making threats, she's going to jail.
That she ain't making no threats, whoever that person is. Melody ain't making no threats. We're talking about utilizing the courts with civil as well as criminal to put boundaries in place to stop the harassment, the release of the revenge P, and other things, and to get some control regarding how she's being treated on Love and Marriage Huntsville with OWN and the rest of them. These past 2 weeks, her manager, Dawn, came on the Gossip Girls and stated that these 2 weeks, they're going to be taking action. And that's what they need to do. Give you a perfect example. I remember I showed you Show Styles and Spirits. Jennifer Lopez took action against Mark Anthony and her former manager when they had their divorce. You have to do it.
Her first husband, they made a SEX tape.
Correct.
His name was last name like Noah, or it was a Latin name, but he was gonna reveal that SEX tape, and her manager and her lawyer, they put a stop to it. But I want to say to Renee Clark in the chat, as far as you saying that Melody made threats saying she was going to kick somebody's butt, that was after her being self-controlled and holding her tongue, holding her peace, after the mistress will go live on her Instagram constantly, taunting her, talking about her. So that wasn't like your normal threat, like how her ex-husband threatened her with revenge P. That was somebody being human, a human response. So
Yeah,
even
and that's self-defense.
Okay.
Let me say one other thing about that.
What?
If you listen to her when she said that, she said something before that. It's like,
She
okay, if you don't
can
stop,
get beat. You don't make you. She didn't say that she was going to do it. She said it can happen. Don't think you can't get it. She didn't actually say she was going to do it.
Yeah.
right, right, absolutely. And see, Melody is very smart. You have to listen
Right.
to actually, because I had to listen to it more than one time before I caught on to what she was actually saying. She didn't just say, I'm just gonna come over there and beat your butt because I want to. It was like an example that she was using, and then she said, I will.
Yeah, she would defend herself because, like I say, she even told if they know what you look like, her security team will let you in, and you can have a nice civil discussion or beat down, woman to woman, in her place if you want to start your mess. So people talk like this all the time. It's put up a shut up.
I
We're
mean,
not here to just let you assault and attack her kids and you name it.
and
You
that's the
know,
thing,
They
right?
yeah.
probably
That's
gonna
the
try to
thing.
sue
So
her.
many. I mean, she says a lot of things, with this, with her little keypad. She says stuff and puts it on Instagram, and saying being a mother to our 5 children. Yeah, that would require a beat down. I'm sorry, it would, because now you're bringing my children into it, which has nothing to do with you. My ex-husband at the time, husband, would leave our marital home to come to the open, wide open gym and potentially bring a devastating disease back to the family. No,
And you can,
anything that this woman did, anything that this woman did related to Martell is karma. Anything. I do not believe she did not know that this man wasn't married. I think she knew from the very jump that he was married. I do. I believe she knew. And she was one of those thoughts that wanted to just be taken care of by a married man because allegedly she doesn't have an issue or a problem with messing with someone else's man. Period.
Now,
She
in
done it
my
before.
opinion, that's the side chick right there. Her.
But she is. I mean, we're just saying she is. I don't, I look, whatever.
yeah,
And
she
and
was.
and right. And the thing is, like Melody said, a person can only and will only take so much. And
And
she has,
I'm actually liking this to the stand your ground rule. If you do
well, and not only
this,
that,
this, I'm going to do that. That is what
right.
she's
And not
saying.
only that, I really wish Alabama would have had alienation of affection law here, because she would be done for. But they don't have that here.
She don't have nothing to
They have
take.
some of the worst. They have some of the worst laws, but then some of the laws that really matter, they don't have them here. You
Well,
know,
y'all know that they just found Coleslaw's baby daddy, Paris's daddy, Facebook page, and it looks like he has custody of Paris allegedly. I'm thinking that Coleslaw is upset because if you see the pictures, it shows them like at church. The little baby got baptized. She's dressed like the stepmom, and and they look like a family. And I think she threw Melody's kids in her face because that's her
because she's
way
not.
to project, because she's hurt that
She
uh
don't have hers.
that she don't have her daughter, and the other lady probably may have told her, go tell your daughter, you can call her and tell your daughter good night or something.
You're
So
absolutely
she trying
right.
to throw that in Melody face, like it's
Yep.
cute.
You are absolutely right. Yeah. Because it was said that um she had her oldest when he was with another woman.
Yeah, she was an adulterer. Everybody's called side chick. Adulterer is the proper word. Yes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think she was lying when she came back and told Melody that she was talking about the daughter, her daughter was there with them, and that's why she said 5 and that Tank was not there? Because if
I
this
think she
girl,
No,
I think she miscounted her
I
own
think she
kids.
miscount. Yeah, I do too.
I
She's
just don't think
slow.
she can count.
Hannah,
She
she's
just
slow, baby.
she thought about what she said, trying to be so cute, and then when Melody clapped back at her, she had to come up with something to try to save face. But that don't work, baby. That
so
don't
Yeah,
do
work.
cuz
y'all
what was the
so do
word?
y'all think that she did not have the daughter and the daughter was with the father? And she
Yes,
lied
Yes.
about the daughter
She
being there?
lost custody.
yes, yes.
Paris' father took
Because
the child after what was going on with her having her mental breakdown, in my opinion, allegedly, and got custody of that kid because she's off. And
Um,
that's why I
I
don't
just
think the
feel,
children can be around, Melody's children can really be around this peasant
I
because
mean,
I
I'm
think
just,
Hotel is doing that on purpose to try to
yeah.
attack.
And I really do believe, I really do believe, and I hope Melody has some type of proof. I really do believe that she's staying overnight
me too.
whenever he has those children. I really do believe she is.
You know why I think so too, Red Ann? Remember when little baby Knox had went and was stepping on those children's head and the thing?
Mhm.
Remember when he woke them up out they sleep?
Mhm. Mhm.
I know for sure Martell doesn't keep that baby overnight because he got to change pampers and he's a terror allegedly, in my opinion. So I'm thinking that those children sleep in that one room all together, and Knox was in there with Slaw, and then he woke up early and ran in there bothering those kids. And
Mm.
Martell's so busy trying to film, you know, he busted himself. I think she spent the night that night.
Mm.
I think she spends the night often, or she might leave when
I
or
and
she
I
might leave and
believe,
come when they
right.
go to sleep or something like that.
And I believe he has left those children with her,
Yep.
in my opinion, because I mean, yeah, I really and truly do. I really and truly do. And when she was talking about the Madison County parenting clause, if I would definitely, if I was her, be appealing that ruling, because like she said, for that judge to put in paperwork that she feels like he is, doing what's best for the children, and she can't say that for the mother. Well, it's not for you to say that, because you're supposed to be impartial.
Exactly.
So, and like Melody said, why did you keep giving him chances? Why didn't you just make him, why wasn't it a contempt? Contempt. I mean, if you're the judge and you're saying and you're putting down an order that a parent should do this or a parent should do that, then he should do it.
Hmm.
Then he should do it. I mean, did or did he not say he doesn't care what the judge say? He gonna do what he wants to do.
That's what he said. Martell just really thinks he is above the law.
Who else does that sound like? I'm sorry.
Carlos Queen?
Mm, um, no, they ain't even related to Love and Marriage, Huntsville.
I mean, just idol worship. These are people who have idol minds that worship.
Yeah, just our ex, our number. What was he? 45? Was he 45?
Oh, Trump.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
45.
just, and it kind of makes me think about that, how everybody seems to want to protect Martell, but I really do think that this man, he's all about recordings, and he said that before. he records conversations because he may need to use that later on. He said that.
But Red Ann, he has been recording people, and you better believe they have been recording his butt too. So
Right.
got information on him. See, he think he's slick, smarter than the average bear, but he's not. Everything is getting ready. Remember, Melody talked about this is a season of revelation. It's getting ready to happen. She called it because she knew that. And then just think about how Carson Blue came out and gave us this information. The content creator came out and gave more information. Revelation. They're all intact in this plan for God's plan, if you ask me. Because Martell and Coleslaw, if they had left this alone years ago, then everything probably would have moved in their favor. But because they chose not to, it's like I know Anonymous always talk about Egypt and Pharaoh and how he kept on and on and on and on. Hey, maybe this was just that's part of the story that was written, and it has to be played out. Revelation is coming to them. I mean, revelation is here, and justice is going to rain down on them too, because they've been getting away with too much.
Is that Virgo?
Yeah. Yes. I was just going to say thank you, Virgo, and thank you for your patience. I was going through the chat earlier, and then I discovered you said, please drop the link. And then you said, please drop it again. I was like, oh my gosh. So now I'm caught up on the comments. And thank you for coming back.
Miss Rena Clark, how are we being messy for real? Or are you talking about the show?
Go ahead, Virgo. Give your thoughts on the episode.
Hey, hi, Anonymous.
Hello, darling.
What's up?
We all called to mess up in here, baby.
I've been listening to you all go at it. I was like, okay. It got a bit hot. I came up, then I dropped. I was like, nope, not now, not today. Hi, Hannah Gray, Hannah Rose. There are days I have the energy, and today's just not one of them.
Yeah.
It's just not one of them. Hi everybody up here. Sorry, I know Hannah. I know Anonymous. Hi, Ebony.
Hey, Virgo.
Hello, dear. I'm glad you made it up. By the time I was caught up with the comments, it's like multitasking when you're like the host of the live. So I'm glad you made it back up.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. It's too much. I want to talk about three things. One, can somebody please tell me how Kimmy and Maurice met?
I don't know, because they really haven't talked. I remember them
They
saying
have.
something about somebody introduced them or somebody told Kimmy about him.
I've heard three different stories. So
Me too. I was just gonna say me
So
too.
have I.
yeah, there's
That's why I want to know exactly how they met.
Well, she has said that he was a barber and she took Jalen for him to go cut his hair. I think that was a way for her to meet him, if that's the truth. Then I've heard on Fox Soul, she said it was through real estate. Then I've heard it was there was a toy party, an adult toy party that was co-ed, and he was there, or it was some relation to a toy party. So I don't know.
Freaks come out at
I
night.
haven't heard that last story before, but I have heard the barber where she said she basically stalked him.
Yep.
And she just said that last season when she announced the cancer diagnosis. That she basically stalked him.
The season 1 reunion with Kiowa, there was them discussing a toy party and them meeting some sort of way.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also vaguely remember her saying something about meeting Maurice through his sister-in-law or somebody's sister-in-law or something along those lines. Patricia, whoever Patricia is.
Yep. Patricia is one of the Scott's ex-wife now, I think.
Mark.
Because Mark's ex-wife, Patricia, is Kimmy's best friend, according to her.
Yep. There you go.
And I vaguely remember her saying that she met Maurice, that Patricia was telling her about this great guy that she has to meet, this, and then she met him. I remember that story quite vaguely, not sure I'm giving all the details as they were, but something along those lines. I remember vividly her saying last year that she met him while he was a barber and she kept taking her son to go there or something. And I was wondering, your son was a teenager. How come you were taking him to? Oh, okay. She was taking her son to get his haircut. And then on Fox Soul, she said that she met him while he was doing house flipping. Maurice has never said he did house flipping. I remember
Nope.
Maurice saying he was a barber. Then I heard him say saying he was going into credit. He was into credit repair. But I know they're doing real estate together now, which is because they have the brokerage. So for me, I am sorry. As much as I agree with Pretty Brown Eyes, that I still stand on that once people are separated and they're going through a divorce, I think it's unfair to call a woman that dates a guy going through a divorce a side chick, but that's just me. But going back to that point, I am now sorry because Kimmy has proven herself to be a liar.
Yeah.
And with that knowledge or with that belief that I have, I also don't believe a word that Kimmy has to say about not knowing that Maurice was married. That's number two. And number three, and most importantly to me, is why is she so pressed? Kiowa has remarried and moved on.
Right.
Everybody has, you've married Maurice and moved on. If you really, really, really don't think you were a side chick, why are you so pressed? And why did you allow your husband to gaslight you and manipulate you into digging this back up to the point that you had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to go and tell the mother of your stepson who lives in the house with you, who you already are having issues with, that his mother lacks integrity to her face? You said it behind her back, then you said it to her face. And you expect that you're going to have a good relationship. That's number two. Number three, Kimmy holds every single person accountable because for some reason they've dubbed Kimmy the voice of reason. I don't see it, never have, never will.
Nope.
They've dubbed Kimmy the voice of reason. She's the most mature. Yes, she chooses the right
She's the
words.
oldest.
Yes, she speaks slower. Yes, she's more articulate than most people on the show, save Mel. But that doesn't mean she's more articulate because in essence, if we remove all the we like Kimmy and Kimmy has cancer and we feel sorry for her and we're praying for her healing, Kimmy, at the end of the day, at the basis level, is she's not old, but she sees herself as old. She's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She's an older woman who waited 7 years for a younger man to string her along,
That part.
only to marry her. And how they met is still questionable.
Questionable.
I prefer the version where she stalked him. That's the one that sounds most plausible to me. That's the only one that I think makes sense because you're the older woman who waited. The older, more established, more financially secure
Mm.
woman
Mm.
who wasted 7 years of your life for a man to dangle the carrot of marriage under your nose, only for you disrespect you constantly and not even tell anybody. Well, rather put it out there because nobody heard about this side chick trash until Martel said it, that Maurice and Marceau told him, and
Yep.
obviously Maurice told Marceau.
Correct.
This man that has implied that you're a side chick, that you were a side chick, dangled you along for 7 years, only for you to eventually get married to him. And this man has no empathy, no sympathy, no respect, no kindness towards you, that he has turned you into the original Molly the maid, who is now meant to raise his son, who he has now gone onto Beyonce's internet to publicly embarrass you, demean you, denigrate you, only for you to open your mouth and then have the audacity, the lack of respect for yourself, the lack of self-worth to go on another channel. And I was waiting for Funky Dineva to play Captain Saberhole. because I knew they were going to run to him because he's their family Olivia Pope. So I knew he was going to do something stupid along those lines. But even Funky Dineva couldn't save them. Because why? Because Maurice never knows when to shut the hell up. And because why? Because Kimmy is a pygmisha who lacks self respect, desperate, totally unwilling to even check herself, but willing to check every single woman around her. She can check Mel. She can check Stormy. She can check Destiny. She can check Tisha. She can check Wanda. She can check Kiowa. But she can't check the man who disrespects her on a constant. I lack
That,
respect for Kimmy. I've
yes.
lost every iota of respect I had for Kimmy. And I'm sorry. I wish her healing. I hope that she gets better. But I also hope that she finds some self respect, some kind of self esteem, some kind of pride. And if she can't find it on her own, look for where it's being sold and buy some. This is pathetic. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
That Foxhole interview was embarrassing. And I'm sick and tired of her sitting in those stupid interviews and looking like she wants to cry. If you want to cry, cry. At this point, I have no sympathy for you because you've put yourself in this position.
Right.
The energy you spent going after Kiowa, asking for a dumbass apology that she does not owe you. Because as long as she thought that her marriage was being fixed, was being repaired, and there was hope of reconciliation, to her you were and will always be a side chick. It's the truth of the matter. And I don't even believe in that word in this particular instance. Your issue is with your husband, but then you know your husband has no respect for you, don't you? And
Right.
because you know he has no respect for you, he allows his son disrespect you by not listening to you, by not taking to your rules, by not even obeying whatever laws you lay in the house. So because you know he has no respect for you, because your husband sat there and allowed Martel call you a side chick, your husband sat there and allowed his brother call you a side chick in the pool in Vegas. But you will never, ever, ever talk to this bum husband that I don't know what you see in him. This man who has a mental illness and does not want to get it sorted out. Because nobody at our big age, nobody over 40 with bills, with responsibilities, with a job, is thinking about having intercourse multiple times a day to the point that they can't control themselves when their spouse is ill. The fact that he has no issue climbing on top of you and doesn't even know your body enough to know that you're not into it, that you had to tell him that you are not even into it, you're not really aroused like that, that means he never ever cared. You have never been anything to him but a hole, a maid, and a nanny for his son.
Ooh, come on now. Speak
And
it.
at some point in time, if nobody tells you this, Kimmy, I hope you hear this. I hope somebody sends this to you and you hear it. You are worth more than this. But we can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. Because we are fighting your battles and you have the audacity to say the fans do too much. Yes, I agree with you. The fans do too much in some instances. But in this instance, the fans didn't do enough. The fans didn't do enough. I wasn't one of those fans fighting for you because I've seen you. I peeped your game. I see you for who you are. You like it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
Yep.
I knew you were going to come on and do that trash you did. So I wasn't even fighting for you. I found it hilarious because I was waiting for you to come out and act all doe-eyed. And what happened? I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I knew you were going to do that. And you didn't disappoint. You didn't disappoint me. You
Right.
disappointed yourself. You
Right.
disappointed your son because you opened your mouth and told Kiowa that you allowed them portray a narrative that your son was looking at you crazy. You did that to
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Kiowa didn't do
Mm-hmm.
diddly squat to you. You
Mm-hmm.
did that to yourself. You have so little respect for yourself and your own child that in your desperation to have a man and say, I got a man,
Mm.
I'm married, to say I
Mm.
am a missus, you were ready to allow yourself be embarrassed, humiliated, on national television for perpetual for all of eternity because it's on the internet, it's on TV. When you have a grown son who is old enough to understand, you don't even respect your own child. So how can you respect yourself? Moving on.
Oh,
Next, I'm
that
done.
was a lot.
I'm moving to Stormy.
Uh-oh.
I'm only going to be here for a short while. I just had to get this out.
Get up, get up, get up, get up.
Stormy, I tried. The thing is, Anonymous, some other people here know how hard I fought for Stormy. Pretty Brown Eyes, if you're here, you know how hard I fought for Stormy.
I'm here.
Scorpio Energy, you know how, Linda Gamble, you guys know how hard I fought for Stormy. I was windmilling. When everybody would tell me Stormy is trash, I'd be like, no, I was windmilling for this. I'm not going to say what I want to say, but I was windmilling for this chick. So I'm highly disappointed. Let me start with the stupid dinner, the stupid lunch that they went for. First of all, Stormy, the only reason you're having this stupid lunch with Mel is because you were played.
Yep.
You're stupid. Because the plan was, because you came on, you have no strength to your own convictions. You came on the show as Mel's friend. But when you went for Valentine's Day and you got the backlash for people calling you ghetto, you overcorrected and you started kissing us. And then you wanted to be one of the guys so badly. But the thing is, you also realized that being Mel's friend was too hard because nobody liked Mel at the time. So it was easier for you to go with the bigger group. Because why? Because you're spineless, because you're a coward, and because you have no scruples, no morals. You can't stand in your own thing because you fall for everything because you stand for nothing. There are no principles about you. You're just one of those I want to feel among kind of people. You just want to be in there because you were never really picked and you were never really part of the cool crowd. So this time the cool crowd is telling you it's possible you can be here, but shit on the person that brought you in. And then I'm sick and tired of Stormy talking about how she borrowed Mel her house. Let's rewind. According to you, Stormy, you said you reached out to Mel. Mel didn't know you, and your agreement with Mel was product placement. Mel was going to get you on the show to talk about your products, and that was supposed to be your deal. She did you one better. She made it look organic by coming to your house and acting like you were her friend so she could talk about your products. That's what Mel did for you. But she didn't do it because you were friends. And I'm sick and tired of people talking and saying that, oh, she allowed Mel use her house. That wasn't altruistic. That was a business arrangement. Get it right. 1. 2, you and Mel started developing a friendship, but you knew your mother couldn't stop. Your mother couldn't stand Mel. So that means you knew what was going on in the background. You knew what your mom had been. Thank you so much, 41 for FT. You knew what your mother had been saying about Mel for a long time, but you still reached out to this woman and asked her to be your brand ambassador, asked her to do product placement with you. Did your mother not have those strong feelings before you went to meet her? Or did those feelings develop after you reached out to Mel? Just curious. Fast forward. You came on the show, you realized that nobody liked Mel, and it was going to be a bit difficult because you're not about it. You just pretend you are. You really aren't. You're a pick me yourself. But yours is not a pick me for men, you're a pick me for women. You just want to be involved in the in crowd. Fast forward, the break went on and you started kissing everybody else's ass because according to you, Mel wasn't reaching out to you, which is fine. But you conveniently keep forgetting that your mother was already on the internet saying foul stuff about Belle, about her kids, calling her all kinds of names, which you knew of because you're in the same Facebook groups. So you didn't miss anything your mother said. And let's not forget all the slick shots you were throwing online simply because she launched 7th Avenue skincare and it was doing well. Now, you didn't think it was going to do well because you thought it was going to be another vanity project for another reality star who was going to launch something and it wasn't going to do well. Your issue was when it started doing numbers. That's when your issue came, because you are your mother's daughter. Your mother doesn't think anybody is allowed to be successful because in your entire generations, in your entire lineage, you're the first of your kind. So your mother believes everybody has to be beneath you. So the problem is this girl doesn't need you for anything. She was willing to meet you in friendship, but that wasn't enough. You have to be above everybody else. Let's move on. You went on break, and then moving on, then you realize that Mel had peeped you because content creators started digging out the things your mom was saying. So at that point, you knew Mel knew what you had done. You knew that Mel knew what your mom had said. So at that point, instead of you to be a woman and go and see her and say, look, I did this, 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 this. My mom said this, 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 this. It's out there. I'm sorry. You decided to be manipulative and join in with them and plan against Mel. But what they didn't tell you was that Destiny, whose ass you were kissing so badly last year, wasn't coming back. Ally 1, gone. Tisha, whose ass Destiny was kissing, didn't also tell you that Carlos had flown into Huntsville and called the entire cast together and told them, enough, make peace, play nice. Tisha didn't tell you. Do you know how I know Tisha didn't tell you? Because you said it in episode 1 when you were at Kimmy's party that you had not been around or spoken to anybody in this room since the reunion. Tisha was in that room, so was Kimmy, which means none of them had spoken to you. So you didn't get the memo. But the thing is, because you're daft and you're a lackey, you had already planned to go after Mel to solidify your position on the show, while Tiffany was supposed to go after Kiki because Kiki was the only one who refused to join in the gang activities with you guys against Mel. Tiffany has been doing her job because Kiki is also thirsty to be on the show. So she's engaging with Tiffany. But Mel has peeped your game. So Mel isn't playing with you. So when you came to Mel and started the BS, Mel has played this game before. She played it last season. She played it season 3 with Tisha. She's played it twice now. She sees it for what it is. She's not even going to engage with you. So you had to course correct. Then you moved into, you wanted to have a child. Courtney wasn't playing with you. Then you moved and threw your own cousin under the bus and further destroyed the relationship between your mom and her sister, which you knew was going to happen because you set that up. Which is why when your aunt was walking out, you kept telling her to come back in because that's where they were recording. So that whole nonsense that you were saying, oh, my mom does. No, your mom does. You and your mom planned that together, which is why you fired Junior in the first place. Because even that firing of Junior, I was wondering what the hell is going on. You were talking, there was a team meeting, you were talking to him, and then the next thing we have to let you go. That's not how that works. But you let him go because you were setting up the next scene with your mom, his mom, and all the drama. You knew what you were doing. You're not slick, Stormy. We see you. Fast forward. That doesn't seem to be going anywhere because your mom went too far, as usual, but you knew she was going to do that. But what you didn't expect was your aunt's reaction, and she was like, I'm done. I'm not filming anymore. I'm done. And she left. So you circled back to Mel. You've seen now that Mel isn't biting. And then you had the audacity to say Mel was gaslighting you. Mel wasn't gaslighting. She told you what it is. She told you, she asked you several times, did you know about your mom's feelings towards me? You gave 16 different roundabout answers. You never really, 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 really wanted to answer what it was. But eventually you had to admit that you did. And then you keep saying you have no control over your mom's feelings. But you do have control over bringing your mom to our presence. You do have control over keeping your mom in the troll under the bridge where other trolls and ogres live. She needs to be among her own kind. You can't be bringing your mom into civilized society. It's not proper. We've done nothing to you. There are children out here. You can't be scaring children with that level of ugliness, that level of evil, that level of spitefulness, that level of vengefulness, that level of bitterness, that level of nastiness. Nobody is supposed to be subjected to that. Take your mom back to the bridge. She'll find Fiona and all the other ogres there. She'll be fine. That's where she came from. Let her return to whence she came from. That's not okay. Now, you now did the whole thing. And then, so when Tisha invited you for what's it called? Whatever the expo, whatever that is. I know the word is expo, but Tisha says expo. What she had was an expo, but I can't continue that. So I'll just say expo. Because I'm sure Tisha had already told you that, oh, Mel was supposed to do it, and then Mel dropped out. You found yourself being all big and bad. Yes, Canvas is a bigger brand than 7th Avenue right now. Yes, yes, Stormy is a bigger name in business. I'm not talking about real estate. I'm talking about retail business right now than Mel is. That's the truth. Yes, so you saw yourself as Captain Save-A-Hole. And you were like, oh, now they've come to the big one. So you went there with your chest puffed out, with your shoulders high, ready to go and save the day because you never asked questions. You didn't ask, you were just basking in the euphoria of being told to come and take over from Mel because for some reason Mel is your nemesis. So to you it was like, okay, now that she's gone, I'm there bigger and better. I've got this. But what you didn't ask was why Mel didn't do it. Because Mel knows they don't know how to do business. But you are too thirsty for friendship, for camera time, and just to be seen that you didn't ask questions. And which shows me why you have so many back orders. Because you suck at business. Because the same reason why you have back orders is the same reason why you didn't ask questions. Because you don't do your due diligence. Because if you had done your due diligence, you'd have known that the Scots are trash at business. And if you had done your due diligence, you would know that you scaled up too fast, which is why you have customer orders that you cannot even fill. Moving on. You got to what's it called? The Expo. For the first time ever, I respected Tisha. She told Marceau off. I'm not doing that. You go. Now, Marceau, I have a question for you with your, okay, let's just move on. Because his gums were flapping so hard, I couldn't even see what I was losing focus. Now, my question for Marceau is, no, his gums, I just can't do the gums. I keep searching for the teeth, but I can't find them.
Jesus.
My question for Marceau is this a business venture or for the community, giving back to the community?
Right.
Because I remember a certain man with hips and gums saying that anybody wanting to get paid was greedy.
Oh.
But for I remember that. I remember that.
Yes.
That part.
That part.
I forgot about that.
Ooh, he said anybody that wanted to get paid is greedy.
Ooh.
So my question, because I've done expos, I've done fairs, there are stalls, there are what's it called? There are stalls, there are tables. It depends on how the fair is set up. And usually you pay a fee and you pay for the amount of size the area you want. They have different, like maybe like diamond, platinum, silver, all different fees, all different dimensions. You know what your dimensions are. There, if it's a stall, there are bigger stalls, smaller stores. You can get like a marquee stall. If it's tables, you have 3 tables, 2 tables, whatever. But the thing is, once you pay, they also advertise you with the fair. So everything that is all the marketing material has all the vendor logos, their names, what they do, their information, and everything telling them. And then everybody just posts that to let people know that, okay, I'm being a part of this fair. These are the other vendors here. This is my this. So first of all, Marceau opened his mouth and said anybody that wanted to get paid is greedy. Now, all of a sudden, you have the audacity to be crying over $385 worth of balloons. And then this is how you know that Tisha and Marceau are not into business, because they hired a coordinator who is an equal imbecile, like they are. All stupid. Because the coordinator, in her infinite lack of wisdom, said it with her chest on national television on a now syndicated program that people kept trying to pay register. So I kept allowing people register all through last night. Where they do that at? Where's that done?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that done? So that means they don't have any banners. They
Right.
don't have any banners. They don't have any marketing material. They don't have anything, like there's nothing welcoming people to the expo, telling them which vendors are here. They don't have printed material directing people where each vendor sections are. That means they didn't have any of that. Because if you were still taking people the night before,
We didn't have
that
enough.
how are you going to get them set up? You can't have the marketing material set up. You can't. So first of all, the coordinator, dum. Now, I went up for Tisha when she called Marceau out and said, even chocolate in the bottle didn't pay for a stall. AKA, none of us paid for a stall. Because if chocolate in the bottle didn't pay for a stall, that means Credit One didn't pay for a stall. We all know Martel cannot afford to pay $100 for a stall. That is just wrong, because he's part of the community they're meant to be giving back to. And because we all know Martel doesn't have that kind of money. So if nobody else paid for the stall, why would you ask Stormy to pay for the stall? That tells me that the simple thing is Marceau saw the price of the balloons and wanted to get some of that money back. And he's so stupid that the first thing he thought of was $100 for the stall. But I was on somebody's live who actually said that there were other people who also paid for their stalls. So I don't get it. If nobody else is allowed to get paid, how come you are allowed to get paid and charge people and then open your mouth and say it's the cost of doing business? I thought this wasn't business. I thought it was giving back to the community. I didn't get that part. Then he went up to Stormy. Now Stormy,
You're right. It was
huh?
supposed to be a community event, Virgo, and he's out here. That's the cost to do business. That's why Stormy made that IG post. She said, I wasn't even selling anything.
Stormy needs to shut up. I'm sorry. I haven't left her top yet. I'm still there. Stormy needs to shut up. And I'm sick and tired of Stormy trying to act like she's so magnanimous and so above it all and all that foolishness. She needs to shut up. First of all, even if you go to an event and you give out products, you're giving them out because one, it's fantastic free publicity. Two, you're creating a customer base because you give them sample sizes. It's not really enough for them to use for that long. What you've done is get them interested in your product. You've given them a free sample of your product and you've created customers. So Stormy, you didn't do diddly squat for free. Get out of here with that BS. You can tell that to people who don't do business. I give out free samples as well. And believe me, I don't do it out of the goodness of my heart. It's business.
Mm-hmm.
Then the whole Stormy calling Marceau low vibrational, I have a problem with that. Not because I don't think he's low vibrational, he definitely is. My issue with that is the passive aggression. Because she keeps calling out Mel for being passive aggressive. Never to her face, but behind her back. But she was being passive aggressive in that moment. You had a problem with Marceau. According to you, when you have a problem, you face it head on. Why didn't you cuss him out for old and new? Because that's what you really wanted to do. But you were being passive aggressive. So I don't know how somebody who's regularly passive aggressive to people that she knows she can't buck up to, aka e.g. Mel, e.g. Tisha, e.g. Kimmy, e.g. Marceau, but she's very aggressive with people that she can, e.g. Tiffany, e.g. Kiki. So you are passive aggressive as well. So let's retire that word, those two words together, because you're judging somebody for something you are. And in that particular scene, yes, Mel can be passive aggressive, but in that particular scene, she wasn't being. She was coming at you direct and she let you know, I don't mess with you because of A, B, C, D, E, and F. But you didn't want to hear that. And because you refused to accept that, you said she was gaslighting you. So this whole show, and let's not even talk about Love and Marriage Detroit. I'm not even going to do that. This whole show needs to be tossed into the trash. I'm done with this stupidity, with this foolishness. Oh, by the way, everybody seems to be offended that Martell was looking at Tisha's ass. Why? Were you offended? But it was okay for Martell to share their bosom buddies because Marcel shared Mel's video with Tisha.
Come on.
So once she could watch his wife give who she thought was his ex-wife give who she thought was somebody else fellatio, I think he has earned the right to look at her ass, especially since she wore those inappropriately tight jeans for the occasion. She wanted attention and she got it. Plus, they're that close. She watched his ex-wife's video. He can look at her ass. I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it. And with that, I'm good. I got it out.
Ooh, bravo. Bravo, bravo.
Write them down.
Virgo.
We're going to do closing
Yes.
remarks. So I'm going to go to Anonymous and then Red Ann. Y'all give y'all closing remarks on this week's episode.
Chad, after that preaching thing, drop the mic. Lord have mercy. That was awesome. Well, like I said, we only saw at least Melody in one scene, allegedly. But we got a chance to not see Mama Vanessa, which I'm cheering for you, Mama Vanessa, to be shown sometime. But again, that's the appropriate part. But yeah, I guess the big thing is a lot of people are kind of concerned about the whole side chick situation. To make everybody feel better, let's just call them adulterers, okay? Let's just say that if you want to feel bad. But I do agree that we need to stop so much focusing on the woman, but we need to start looking at the man or the spouse who is married because they're the one that are playing both sides. And that's not fair to anybody. But you got to beware, especially when you start dating people who happen to possibly be married, just to make sure you protect yourself. I think Virgo's right. This whole episode, it's definitely showing trash, but these people can't do business at all. The Snots and Stormy and Bum on Couch with 12 arrest records, allegedly. And then Hotel with his Botox Pancake 57 implants. You know, it's a mess. Well, those are my thoughts.
Thank you so much. What about you, Red Ann? What are your closing remarks?
I absolutely cannot say anything after was that Virgo energy?
Virgo drops mics all over the place.
Virgo energy? Was that Virgo energy?
I call her cachet still, God dog.
Oh,
Jesus.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who was it?
No, that was Virgo energy.
Okay, yes. I'm done. I can't say anything after that. She was phenomenal. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
But I do have one last thing to say.
Okay.
Martell, lay off the Botox. You got the discount one, boo. No.
Please lay off of it.
Please lay off the Botox.
Little
Please.
Richard was
Sheree
reincarnated
got the
at that.
real one. I think he went with Sheree. Sheree got the real one, and then he got the bonus one. Yeah, no, boo, no, no.
I'm gonna remember
With
you,
that,
Miss Virgo energy.
hi, Francois. Thank
Yes,
you guys.
from
Thank you guys. Okay, so
no, you
yeah,
were
it's been a minute.
fabulous,
I saw Francois.
Virgo. What you think, Show Styles? I mean,
Oh,
she read them so bad and remembered when he said this was for the community and then asked for money. Yeah, right, really. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, I was sitting here thinking everything happens as it should because everyone spoke their hearts, and then Virgo, she came back up and she spoke her heart. It flowed exactly how it was supposed to.
It
And I
sure
think,
did.
yes, and I thank y'all so much for kicking it with me. I hope you enjoyed the recap and everyone giving their opinions. Thank you to Pretty Brown Eyes and Hannah Grace for joining the panel as well. And thank you to Virgo Energy, Red Ann, and Anonymous. And thank you everyone for the super chats. That is so generous of you. I ask that you all please hit the like button on your way out. And I believe I'm going to try and do a video on the multiple ways that Kimmy and Maurice met. And then we'll see, what adds up. But I hope y'all have a very good Monday. And I will talk to y'all soon.
Nothing but
Thank
love.
you. Bye bye,
bye,
Enjoy your
guys.
everybody.
St.
Bye.
Sunday.
Louis and nothing but love. Y'all
Bye.
take good care. Bye.